Chapter 121, Anger. For subscription recommendation. You are Kai Yan, Kai Zhaoji, Kai Wenji. The daughter of the great Confucian Kai Yan. Yi Tianxing finally reacted at this moment, and he could not help but give birth to an unspeakable feeling. The woman in front of him is really too famous. In the modern times before, they are all characters in Chinese history. Kai Yan, the word Zhaoji, and the word Wenji. Daughter of the great Confucianist Kai Yan. Talent is amazing, good at literature, music, calligraphy and many other aspects. Compared with many talents, Confucian students are more outstanding. It can be said that it is not weaker than any talented celebrity. Especially talent and beauty are equally important. The resulting temperament is really fascinating. Poetry and literacy from China. A gifted man thinks like a sea. Women are not necessarily talented. Talent comes from virtue. In ancient times, it was said that women are talentless. This is only the words of some masculine men who fool women, but it is only Liao Yan. There are many talented women in Huasha, and some have no character. Instead, there are more virtues and more achievements in the present. For the benefit of the people, for the benefit of the community, compared to men, compared to so-called talents, they do not know how many times. At that time, can you still say that the last sentence of a woman is virtue? It's Wenji, Kai Yan said to Yi Tianxing. She had a lot of memories before, saying she could be Zhaoji, and she could be Wenji. Moreover, it is based on the fact that it has not been married before, and some memories are also a selective fusion. This fusion and transformation has made Kai Yan more perfect, integrating a large number of herself, and transforming into the most perfect body. Wenji, this is the village chief of Xuanwang village. Yi Tianxing built this Xuanwang village by his own strength. Bless the people. If there is no protagonist, your uncle Huang is now also buried under the minions of the beast. There is no way to live until now. Quote. Huang Chengyan spoke. Wenji once again thanked the village chief Xie Yi for helping Uncle Huang. Kai Wenji thanked him again. No need to be courteous. In my Xuanwang village, there are not so many courtesies. In troubled times, we are all brothers and sisters. We can only survive in this new world if we are united. You and I are not too old big, you know Huang Lao and you are your own person. You will call me Tianxing in the future. You can do it with Brother Yi. When you come to Xuanwang village, you will return to your own home. You get any damage here? Quote. Yi Tianxing said with a smile, his eyes were full of appreciation. This gaze is not covered. However, without too much attention, it was extremely impolite. This is the village head of Xuanwang village. He founded Xuanwang village in one hand and can protect so many people. Although Yi Tianxing is not very handsome, he has far more abilities than those handsome people. Quote. Kai Wenji looked at Yi Tianxing, and secretly had a thought in her heart. When women look at men, many people look first. Handsome men, no matter where they are easily susceptible to beauties, and the attractiveness of their face, no matter in any age, is huge. But there are also some women who only learn by looking at others and their abilities. Such a woman has an opinion, an eye, a talent, and understands what is good and what is false. And Yi Tianxing can protect a common people and build a village in troubled times. Moreover, the strength of this village is extremely powerful. Naturally, it adds a unique charm to him. Then Kai Yan called you Brother Yi, and you call me Wenji or Zhaoji. Kai Yan said crisply, with a unique spirituality in his eyes. Huang Chengyan saw beside him, a thoughtful look appeared in his eyes. Yi Tianxing looked at Kai Yan's eyes. He saw that look, which was different from ordinary people, with appreciation, surprise, and eyes that were difficult to remove, a feeling of. Facing this kind of gaze, Kai Yan was coy, but he did not dislike it. Eyes glanced at the two of them. Huang Chengyan could not help but smiled and took a breath, nodded his head. However, I didn't say much about it, and my heart groaned secretly. Zhaoji is alone now and lives here, but her talents are absolutely rare among women. Regardless of appearance or talent, they are all in one. It is also amazing in spirit and ability to fight and fight. Only such people can make a great achievement in the troubled times. If they can come together, it may be a good thing. Quote. He didn't intend to intervene in this kind of thing. He really had a fate and would naturally be together. Yes, Zhaoji, you were caught by the Huns before, how could you escape suddenly? With the nature of the Huns, you should not be so careless. Huang Chengyan asked. Yes, you ordinary people can escape the hunt of the Huns. There is nothing mysterious in it. Yi Tianxing nodded and said slowly. Some people launched a riot in the Hun camp. After Wenji found it secretly, they already waited silently. Last night, those people finally launched the riot and attacked the Hun camp. Finally, a gap was opened. Rush out. But many died in the hands of the Huns. It was dark and we couldn't see the direction all the way, and we fled here together. Quote. Kai Yan's face was also frightened. Speak and say the previous thing again. How dare to launch a riot in the Huns' barracks, this courage is absolutely very human. Yi Tianxing said with a solemn expression, Shen Sheng. The two are Chen Sheng and Wu Guang. Kai Yan said, there are different lights in the eyes, and no one will be strange to these two names. This is especially true for some people who have read books. Chen Sheng, Wu Guang, they turned out to be them. Huang Chengyan heard it with surprise. These two, but in the history of Huasha, the first one who dared to shout, the prince will have a kind. They have great courage and ambition. Of course, they are more about making heroes in the current situation. Without such ambition, such words cannot be said. It was them, the Huns, and it was ***** good. There was Chen Sheng and Wu Guang in there. If there was no riot, then there would be problems. Yi Tianxing nodded and nodded. Those Huns, cannibals, Kai Yan said, saying cannibalism, and there was no fear on his face. That picture is a hell-like picture for any woman. What did you say? Yi Tianxing heard that a gleam of light shot out in his eyes, and an anger was spreading in his heart. Emerging quickly. Duck, those beasts dare to eat people. Huang Chengyan was even red, his beard was shaking, and he was furious on the spot. As a Confucian, how can you watch someone eaten? Moreover, it is not a ferocious beast that cannibalize people, but humans can eat people. Cannibalism is sin. No one can tolerate the great sin. Yes, those Huns are not humans at all. Every day, I drove those men to do hard labor, build city walls, and kill ordinary beasts in front of ordinary people. After death, they were also treated as two-legged sheep, and they were directly cooked as military food. They were eaten while eating point as a two-legged sheep. Quote, women are miserable, not only will they be humiliated by the Huns, especially the female king Zuo Xian, as long as the women who go in, one by one, just like the dead body, can't see the appearance at all, no one can survive. It's too miserable. Quote, if we didn't escape this time, we would all die. Those Huns are not humans at all. We don't see us as humans at all. In it, not fleeing is death, fleeing is also dead. At least we can fight for it. We live now. Quote, yes, those Huns see us as two-legged sheep, or fat sheep walking on 2 feet, which is really terrible. Those are all beasts, not even animals. The aliens are indeed aliens, all of them, or it should be killed. Extermination. Quote, the people who escaped also exclaimed with anger. The strongest complaint was made against the Zongnu's actions. Such Huns are no longer worthy of being called humans. Terran, it is a beast in human skin. Eating people, two-legged sheep. It's almost death. There was a flash of anger in Yi Tianxing's eyes, and his expression became cold. Such behavior has challenged the limits of his heart. You can kill people, each with its own stance. You kill me, I kill you, you are born and died, and the weak is the original sin. This is nothing, but eating people is the challenge of human morality. Few people can accept such a thing. No one with blood in his chest can accept it. At least Yi Tianxing is absolutely intolerable. Who is King Zuo Xian? Yi Tianxing asked in a deep voice. It's Lu Bao, Kai Wenji said. These were all she noticed secretly, and now it comes in handy. If you pay attention, you can often bring all kinds of valuable messages. Lu Bao, it's him. Lu Bao is not a simple figure. www.novelhall.com. In history, his position among the Huns is absolutely indelible. The Han people are strong, they are dependent on the Han people, and the Han people are weak. They immediately robbed the Han people, plundered and killed, and did everything. His character is cruel and shrewd. Moreover, I also know a lot about Han culture. With ambition and strength, once he is given a chance, it may not be possible. Such a person cannot give him a chance to grow up. Huang Chengyan's eyes flashed, and Shen Sheng said, Master, let me go and kill the Lu Bao secretly, so as not to grow up in the future and endure thousands of years of trouble. What the Zongnu did was impossible for him to see going down. I even plan to go alone, kill Lu Bao with a sword, and kill this scourge. Quote, from what the people said before, Lu Bao was just afraid of practicing some evil skills. He was able to plunder a woman's energy, and she was so strong that she couldn't peek into it. Some Huns had come to watch before. The news here is not long. It will pass to Liu Bei's ears. We can stand by the rabbits and wait for the labor. We will kill the Huns in one fell swoop. Quote. Yi Tianxing said slowly after groaning slightly. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 122, Yi Tianxing's plan. With the character of the Huns, it is absolutely impossible to turn a blind eye after discovering the valley and Xuanwang village. Yi Yixing has speculated from the words of the previous group of people. For Liu Bei's brutality, he did not tolerate rebellion, did not allow slaves to escape, and lived freely. In addition, during the riots, the barracks were ignited. Even if they could extinguish the fire, they would destroy most of the barracks, and most of the fortifications would be destroyed as a result. As long as the news passes, Liu Bao will definitely order Qi Daijin and come to the valley. After all, under normal circumstances, it is absolutely easy to destroy a small village with the power of an elite Hun army, and there is no power to stop the charge of the Hun soldiers, especially just a humble village. It is simply a piece of fat on the chopping board. With the wolf nature of the Huns, it is impossible to give up and turn a blind eye. The Huns will definitely come. Now that they are coming, Yi Tianxing naturally has to prepare a top-class meal for them. Master, do you have any ideas? Huang Chengyan saw and asked immediately. He is a Confucian, but he is not a strategist. He is not too outstanding for various battlefield strategies. It is not worth mentioning at all compared to the few evil wizards he knows. In the battle, there is still a whole card at the bottom of the box. The eyesight is also comparable. Yi Tianxing's expression obviously had a certain idea in his heart. He also wanted to see if Yi Tianxing had any strategic ability. If there are, the achievements will be even more inestimable. Well, Mr. Huang, I have not led soldiers, led troops, or participated in large-scale wars. Some are only ideas that are not very mature. At best they are just talking on paper. Let me talk about the ideas in my heart first. What is wrong? Despite asking. Quote. Yi Tianxing said, in the past, when I was bored, I did read a lot of books, modern, ancient, Huasha's 4 books and 5 classics, Taoist various classics and collections, and even all thatched cottage notes, Laojai, 36 tactics, military strategy, thick black study and so on, there are some involved. Although there are many things that have not been studied carefully, they can be in the era of the information explosion, even if they don't understand, they can know the three-pointer. In terms of vision, and even the spread of thinking, he asked himself that he would not be worse than anyone, or even beyond the historical council of the past. At least, in some respects, there are advantages, but the strategies of the top conspirators cannot be denied. Their strength is not those rigid strategies, but their own powerful intelligence, and IQ. Any strategy is flawed, but their strong intelligence allows them to adapt to the situation, completely covering all the flaws, and ultimately allowing the strategy to achieve its purpose. This is the real strength of top counselors, not just ordinary counselors. They only know how to copy schemes, memorize them, and talk on paper. That's the paper tiger, can't stand the test of actual combat. Otherwise, there are so many soldiers who can become top counselors, why are there so few? The key is whether we can adapt to local conditions. Although the protagonist opens his mouth, Huang Chengyan heard, a little more curious. To be a warrior on the battlefield, one must have a vision beyond ordinary people and a different thinking ability. In order to be unexpected, to play the most important role. Even Kai Yan felt strong curiosity and interest. I want to hear what good ways Yi Tianxing can say at this moment to resist the attack of the Huns. Once the Huns came, it must have been a fierce fighting. I have observed that in the valley, as far as nearby, there is only one entrance, that is, the slender canyon. The canyon is split like a mountain from it and is split in half. Only this road can enter the valley. That is, if this canyon is guarded, it is impossible for those Hun army to kill into the valley. To a certain extent, it can block the enemy outside the door. This is not difficult, you only need to block the exit with a large stone. Quote. Yi Tianxing said, this method is arguably the easiest method. To a certain extent, the Huns cannot enter the valley, at least in a short period of time. In this way, the village can guarantee security and will not directly face the Hun army. But this is only the most negative way. Of course, blocking the enemy outside the door also completely shuts our road to the outside world. Moreover, the enemy is the Huns. What I want to do is to bury them here completely. I want to make this place the grave of those Huns. Knowing that the Huns eat people, he did not intend to let them go easily. As long as possible, none could live, and all would die. Complete killing here. Master, what's your good idea? Yang Yi has also come here and asked. The most powerful of the Huns is riding and shooting. They are a people who grew up on horseback. As long as they are men, none of them can not shoot and shoot arrows. This is a legacy from their bones. They have a natural gift for riding and shooting. As long as their riding and shooting ability is limited, the strength of the Huns can be reduced by more than half. Although we have the guard of the city walls, with the shooting of the Huns, the huge number of people can cause huge threats and damage to the walls. Force. If you can keep them away, keep them away. Quote. Yi Tianxing said. My idea is to strip the cavalry advantage of the Huns first. The cavalry needs to be on the plain in order to exert its real lethality. We can do this. Yi Tianxing immediately expressed his thoughts. That method is not very advanced, it can even be said to be very simple. However, they stopped in the ears of Huang Chengyan and Yang Yi, but they felt bright and felt that the feasibility of this method was very high. You can give it a try. Once it is really successful, the most powerful cavalry means of the Huns will completely disappear, from cavalry to infantry. With one strength, 50% cannot be played out at 10%. It is of great help to kill the Huns. Later, Yi Tianxing followed up with other methods. Yang Yi kept nodding beside him, carefully estimating any feasibility. Kai Yan was on the side, but her eyes were bright and colorful, and looking at Yi Tianxing, she started to become a little different. Confident men often have a unique charm. This charm is quite huge for a woman's lethality. Not long after a few supplements. Subsequently, a large number of people, led by Yang Yi, quickly left the village and walked outside. There are various tools in hand. As for Kai Yan, Yi Tianxing spoke and settled directly in the mansion where he lived. In this mansion, Huang Chengyan also lived. No one would say more when living in it. Kai Yan did not reject this. Hun camp. A large fire filled the barracks with smoke, and most of the fortifications were completely burned into ruins. A large number of Xiongnu corpses were removed from the rubble. Some even burned directly into ash. Some people took sweat medicine and slept directly in the camp. They could not even wake up from the sound of killing outside. They burned to death in the flames. Some were killed directly in the riots. The number is not in the minority. King Zuo Xian, the statistics are basically out. There were more than 1,500 soldiers killed and wounded in this riot. All were caught off guard and died. Some were killed by the fire. They were poisoned before. Some kind of drug. Let them lose their strength. Quote. A soldier came forward to report. With more than 1,000 Hun soldiers, Liu Bei's expression was somber for a while. Now in this world, the Huns die one less. Senior forces will follow suit. Unless you find a place to rest. Otherwise, there is no way to make up for this loss in a short time. How many of those two-legged sheep have been hunted down? Liu Bao said coldly. It was too late and it was dark outside. Those people ran fast and escaped in batches to disperse the chasing teams. However, some of them have been shot dead. But once the female slaves were to be caught, he committed suicide on his own, and none lived. Quote. Someone answered. The impact this time is really too great. However, once those women were caught, they knew that their fate seemed extremely miserable, so none of them were ready to live, and they all committed suicide without hesitation, for fear that they would encounter the terrible end. Huh, dead, it's really cheap for them. Liu Bao sneered with core eyes. Report. Just then, a shout came. All I saw was a Hun soldier who was quickly brought over. King Bao Zuoxian chased the slaves before, chasing them into a valley, which is the valley you are looking for, and there is a village in it, a Han village, and those slaves fled into that village. After discovering the situation, we immediately returned to report. However, when we encountered a fierce beast on the way, the other two brothers used their lives to lead away the fierce beast so that I could return to report. This is the map. The mark has been left before. Can find the valley, www.novelhall.com. After the soldier finished speaking, he couldn't keep it anymore, and fell to the ground on the spot, taking a last breath. Before that, he had been seriously injured by the beast. It is not easy to live to this day. I found the valley, and there are Han villages. Liu Bao heard that a flash of excitement flashed in his eyes, and the original haze swept away on the spot. The valley was the supreme treasure of the Huns in his mind. I did not expect to find out at this time. It was an unexpected delight. Notice, cook me all the bodies of the slaves, everyone is full. Then the army opened the wave, the valley, the treasure house of our Zongnu, and finally found it. We are going to conquer it. Lu Bao laughed and laughed. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 123, Army Kaibo. Sure enough, God bless me the great Zongnu. After the barracks was burned down, he immediately sent the news of the valley to us. This is the guide given to us by God. That valley is our breeding ground. As long as we can occupy it, our great Zongnu, it will certainly be passed down through the ages and endure forever, becoming the greatest nation in this world. It is the royal family among human beings. Quote. The shaman also heard the soldier's report, and his face could not help showing joy. In his opinion, this is a kind of revelation from heaven. God is in favor of the Big Hun. Yes, the shaman's yearning is exactly the same as the king's. The valley is a gift from heaven. No matter what, the hand must be captured. Even if there is a master, it must be plundered. Han people are only worthy to be slaves of my Huns. Quote. Bao Lu Bao's eyes flashed, showing a confident and cruel look. Kan Dao, since seeing the valley in the treasure mirror, he has regarded the valley as his own. However, it is possible to survive in this troubled world and build a village that still stands today. Its strength should be good and it cannot be underestimated. The Han people have always been intriguing and tricky, and it is invincible. The shaman was somewhat uneasy. Said. He is also jealous of the conspiracy and tricks of the Han people. Those people have too many intestines, and no one knows any conspiracy plans in the ground. Shaman, rest assured, it's just a small village. It's nothing at all. In this troubled world, although there are many Central Plains people, they are scattered, and where they can fall, that's no one can think of. A village, can there be any extraordinary big man, top powerhouse? Besides, our Zongnu cavalry is famous all over the world. A small village, a charge will be destroyed. Quote. Bao Lu Bao was confident. In his hands, there are tens of thousands of Huns, and all are cavalry. In the past, even the Central Plains had to be afraid of three-pointers. He was confident that a small village and a cavalry would be completely charged. Push it out. I can't be a hindrance at all. Of course, the necessary vigilance will not be less. After knowing that there are still things like cultivation in this world, I know that there must be various strong men. Everyone has the opportunity to become a monk. As long as they get the exercises, they have the opportunity to cultivate. Become strong. I need to be concerned about such people. However, Lu Bao didn't expect that someone would be willing to make the exercises completely public, so that the practice of the whole people will become a reality. After all, human nature is selfish, and no one would be willing to easily share the exercises in their own hands. It's like Lu Bao, he has the Gongfa combat skills in his hands, but he doesn't have any idea to pass it on. Even if he wants to pass on it, he has to wait until he becomes stronger, or even leave various control methods. Otherwise, he would never do such a thing. I compare heart to heart. He doesn't think anyone can do it. The saint is also selfish. The Tatar Huns moved quickly. I cook directly on the fire and eat the dead humans. All of them have fierce faces, with cruel eyes, and people who have eaten human beings. The kind of eyes will change. In the eyes, a kind of cold green light will appear in the pupil. There is no way this green light can dissipate, especially in the dark. This is a sin. But in the eyes of the Huns, this is not sin. I eat without any pressure. I soon had enough to eat and drink. Army. Soon, someone started to order. A large number of war horses were pulled out. These war horses are all excellent war horses. Each of them was carefully selected on the grassland. To the war horses, these Zongnu treated their brothers. This is their best friend brother. Able to accompany the quartet to save lives and obtain various resources. War horses eat better than people. Here, none of them fell out, but one by one. The body is full of powerful power. Go on, go. Bao Lu Bao has straddled a black horse. Only 4 of the horse's hoofs had white hair that looked as if they were stepping on 4 white clouds. Very amazing, this is Ma Zhong. Superb Wuju stepping on the snow. The army of these Huns has a large population of no less than 50,000 to 60,000. This is the reason for the many deaths and injuries in the fight with the beast before, otherwise, the number will only be more. One person is over 10,000, like a mountain, like a sea. What's more, tens of thousands of troops gathered together, plus war horses. Black is a huge piece. Everyone has a sword and a bow and arrow. A pair of eyes, with a sharp glance. Rumble. At the command of Lu Bao, the whole army immediately started to move. The warhorse galloped on the ground, and there was a roar on the ground, as the earthquake office did. The ground shook the mountain, and the momentum was exuding. Even if the beasts around it felt it, they subconsciously stopped and watched the army passing by in front of them. From the army, they felt a strong threat. Alone, these beasts will definitely kill them without hesitation, but the cavalry army that can be gathered together is like a flood of steel, condensing the evil spirit so that the beast monsters must be shocked. Waiting for the fierce beast, dare not approach. Their sense of smell is sharper and stronger than humans. Especially sensitive to dangerous smells. In the eyes of the tens of thousands of cavalry troops, in their sense, there was a deadly threat. No one has stopped easily. In the face of death, even beastly monsters will hesitate and will retreat. A large number of birds were stunned by the cavalry's trample and flew to the sky. Many are powerful rogue birds, predators in the sky. However, after the iron ride, a beast monster followed in secret. Apparently, he smelled an unusual breath. For so many people, it is already a huge temptation for monsters. Together, there are not many fierce beasts daring to move, but if they are separated, it is a delicious meal. When I saw the prey, no fierce beast could watch and slip away in front of it. Along the way, there are marks left by previous scouts. The hussars rushed forward and rushed forward. Although the movement is too big, it may even startle the powerful beasts hidden in the dark, but the cavalry crosses the border very fast. By the time the fierce beasts get angry, the Hun army has shuttled past. Some beasts can't respond and can only roar. Bao Lu Bao and the others were extremely fast. After a while, they ran across the road and came directly to the valley in front of the valley. Stop. Lu Bao waved in front of the valley, and the cavalry behind him stopped instantly. From movement to quietness, there was no abruptness. Each Hun slave controlled the steeds under him at the first time. The control of the steeds is called going deep into the bone marrow is already fantastic. It's all an instinct that's been trained on horseback. There is nothing wrong with saying that humans and horses are one. Why did Zuo Xian stop? And he found something wrong. The shaman came to Lu Bao and looked at the canyon in front of him, and he could see that at the other end of the canyon, there was a vast world. Just walk through and you can see the fertile land they dream of. I used to stay in the Chinese world for a while. I also know the Chinese martial arts and read several books. Lu Bao opened his mouth and pointed at the canyon in front of him. The road is long and narrow. Such a location is the easiest to set up an ambush. If you leave a team of people on the upper and lower sides, set up a large pile of rocks. Just wait until our army enters the gorge and push the stones down. Quote. Then our entire army will have no resistance and will be completely smashed into meat sauce and killed on the spot. I don't know how many people will be killed or injured because of this. This position is ambush and there is almost no way to block it. This is natural danger. Quote. Bao Lu Bao said solemnly. I glanced at the canyon, feeling that the canyon was like a beast with a large mouth opening blood. People are completely swallowed up at any time. Once such a natural danger has an ambush, the threat to the army is absolutely unimaginable. By accident, the entire army would be buried in this canyon. Is King Zuo Xian too careful? Even if our news is known to the villages in the valley, it is impossible to think that we will rush so soon. To here. Moreover, according to scouts, the village had been fighting with a monster army before. It should be impossible to find our whereabouts in such a short time now, and we are expected to come to the valley. Now maybe they have suffered both losses with those monsters and suffered heavy losses. There can be no such effort. www.novelhall.com, Shaman said after frowning slightly. In his view, the possibility of ambush leaving an ambush around the gorge should be small. The Han people are deceitful and must be guarded. But even if there is no ambush, be careful, there will be no big mistake. Bao Lu Bao flashed in his eyes, flatly said. He did not show any recklessness in this kind of thing, but was extremely shrewd. If not, he would not be able to take the position of King Shang Zuo Shenxian. What does King Zuo Xian mean? The shaman asked curiously. Setting an ambush on the canyon can only generate the power once. I am going to divide the 1,000 people into a team and walk through the canyon. After the previous team passes, we will let the 1,000 people pass by. It can only cause a small number of casualties, but it will not allow our army to be destroyed. Although it will take some time, it will ensure the maximum security of the army. Quote. Bao Lu Bao said with a sneer. I am naturally the best without an ambush. There are ambushes, thousands of people, and he can afford it. Does not cause significant damage. Even if there is an ambush, you are not afraid. In front of strength, any ambush is a paper tiger. It's broken in one click. King Zuo Xian is really wonderful. When the shaman heard it, he nodded secretly in agreement. After all, Lu Bao's worry is not impossible. Lu Bao is better at marching and fighting. To be continued. Chapter 124, Charge. Bu Guo, why, then, Zuo Shanwang looked at the cliffs on both sides with treasure mirrors. Naturally, we can know if there is an ambush above. This can also be used to prevent all hidden dangers in case. The shaman said suddenly. He knew, however, that the precious mirror in Lu Bao's hand was a strange treasure. It was extremely magical. He could peek into the surrounding scenes. The precious mirror was very amazing. Lu Bao even regarded it as a treasure, and he didn't leave his body for a moment. Even the shaman had only seen it a few times, but he hadn't encountered it personally. He started, only to know that Baojing could detect the surrounding scenes, and present it in the treasure mirror. As for whether there are other effects, except Lu Bao, I am afraid no one knows. No, you can't count me in a small canyon, even if there is an ambush. And, as the shaman said before, the village may not know that we will come at this time. Just follow my instructions. Do. Bao Lu Bao heard and waved without interruption. For his own words, he is not allowed to change at all. In his bones, there is a natural concubine. If the shaman does not say it, he may still use a treasure mirror to look it up. Now that he says it, look at it again. The analysis of the situation and the wisdom revealed are all in vain. A lot of nonsense. Moreover, he has absolute confidence in his speculation. Yes, King Zuo Xian. The general next to him immediately bowed down and promised to convey the previous order. Suddenly, the army quickly divided into a group of thousands and shuttled through the canyon. Moreover, the army was advancing very fast, and the war horses galloped through the canyon like the same wind, striving to get through the canyon in the shortest time. When the war horse ran, the iron hoofs stood on the ground, especially in the canyon, making this iron hoof sound more deafening. The maggots were as big as the flash floods and the thunderous void. No accident, the cavalry army of 1,000 people traveled unimpeded all the way through the canyon. There weren't any big stones on the head, nor any sharp arrows like rain. Everything was normal and very calm. The second batch, rush over. Immediately after the first army passed, immediately the second army had begun to set off, again with a thunderous iron hoof sound. There is no danger in crossing the canyon. It seems that there is really no danger on either side of this canyon. There was no ambush. Everything that I guessed was just their guess. Alas, Lu Bao still hasn't changed his strategy. It still passes through the canyon per 1,000 people. In Xuanwang village, the damage that had appeared on the city wall before has been quickly repaired, and a large number of vines and thorns have been covered on the city wall, making the city wall tougher, and the sword will not be easily cut off on it. A soldier stood on the city wall. I also have a large number of people. On top of it, there are a lot of stones stacked. These stones are used to defend the city. Smashing it out with the power of a monk, the destructive force is absolutely extremely powerful and overbearing. After knowing that the Huns were about to commit crimes, almost all the people in the village voluntarily stepped onto the city wall, preparing to cooperate in defense and kill the Huns together. The wicked acts of the Xiongnu have spread throughout the village. The kind of cannibalism has completely challenged everyone's moral bottom line. After hearing it, they are filled with indignation and anger, and they must not be used for thousands of swords. Cut. I did not feel afraid of the Huns. Pharaoh, you are not afraid, but that's the Huns. I heard that they eat people. They have no energy when they eat no meat. Listen to the village chief and say that the Huns may be coming soon. Some people stood at the city wall. Then, whispered. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? The Huns are beasts, they are not humans at all. We have killed even fierce beasts and monsters. If the Huns are more cruel, can they be more powerful than those monsters? Even the monsters are not afraid of the Huns, and if they dare to come today, let them know that our Xuanwang village is not vegetarian and it is not easy to mess with. An old man said in a humble voice. After training, his power is even stronger than his prime. He has killed monsters and ate fierce beasts. He is not afraid of any Huns. The Huns eat people, but the beasts are not as good. Well, this time I am going to kill some Huns and take revenge for those people who have died. The Huns want to break our village is just a daydream. Really think we are eating dry food. Someone grinned and showed yellow teeth, sneered. Few are afraid of the Huns. The fierce beasts have been killed, what is the Huns? They're not eggless. What's more, before they went out to prepare together, the Huns, here, could not be fierce. Rumble, coming. It was the sound of horseshoes, coming from the canyon. It must be the Zongnu, this is the roar of a large number of cavalry horses and galloping horses. It is not wrong, it must be the Zongnu. Kuei, look, there are cavalry rushing out there, and that dress is really the Huns. There was a violent roar in the canyon, and the soldiers standing on the city wall and the people's spirits were shaken at the same time. A clever man stood up and stood on the city wall, looking at the entrance to the valley. In a loud roar, Hungarian cavalry appeared one after another. Together, in front of the canyon, there are more and more huge, and the momentum emitted is more and more severe, and the evil spirits converge, bringing invisible pressure. A good Huns, they are so careful. Every time they appear, they are in batches of 1,000 people. They cross the canyon in batches. This is because we are afraid that we will set an ambush above the canyon and drop a rolling stone. To spend it in this way, even if I had left an ambush on it before, I was afraid that it would not do much. It can kill a part but not most of it. Quote. Shi Yangye saw that when he looked right, he had a deeper understanding of the terribleness of the Zongnu. These enemies are not as reckless as they appear, and they still have wisdom. Not a headless man. It also means that the opponents in front of him are very smart. Yes, this army of Huns is fierce, but the plot of the protagonist is in fact the scheming before him. Even if these Huns know what it is, there is no way to solve it. As long as they encounter it, they are destined to suffer heavy losses. Quote. Huang Chengyan nodded and said, it is obviously impossible for Zhen Zhen's ambush to have a real effect on the Huns. But there are some strategies, even if they know they are strategies, there is no way to crack them. This is between conspiracy and conspiracy. Most difficult to crack. Cavalry, all cavalry is good. I want to let them cut off their hands and feet without approaching the village. Yi Tianxing watched the cavalry coldly. He has no pity for these Huns, and if possible, he will bury them all here. To eat human beings, to live is sin. Rumble. The last troops of the Zongnu army passed through the canyon. Bao Lubao appeared in the valley, and all the Huns were separated by a road, so that Lubao appeared at the front. A majestic Lubao looked around, looking at the entire valley, the vastness, the rivers crossing, the grass and fragrance, couldn't help taking a deep breath. His face was fascinated, and then he laughed loudly. Here, this valley is the supreme land bestowed upon us by heaven. This place will belong to our great Huns. Quote. Ha 1 hectare, ha, thousands of armies at the same time uttered excitement, shaking the quartet like thunder. Obviously, they are also very satisfied with the performance of this valley, they have regarded it as their own place. Own place. Bu Guo, however, before harvesting this fertile territory, we will completely wipe out this small village. Lu Bao waved his whip, pointed at Xuanwang village, and yelled, warriors, charge, kill me, grab, plunder everything. There is wealth, women, slaves, and your courage, to snatch, to plunder, to enjoy killing. Quote. A cold drink echoed in the void. I passed it to the ears of every Hun soldier, a Hun soldier. At this moment, the eyes became completely red, and howled, the tantrum had been irritated, and the nature of bloodthirsty was completely flooded. Emerged. Rumble. I did not hesitate to see that tens of thousands of Zongnu cavalry were rushing towards the village like black tide, and the cavalry charged fast, getting faster and faster. In front of this cavalry, www.novelhall.com, the village is like a fragile, thatched cottage, and in the face of the flood, it will be instantly destroyed. The momentum and depression made the air seem to freeze completely. The pictures of the Zongnu's charge were absolutely shocking. He could only see the cavalry in the mountains and mountains. The good Hun's cavalry, the cavalry's charge, it really is unstoppable. In front of the cavalry, it is difficult to escape without strong courage. Yi Tianxing saw the cavalry's charge and nodded secretly. This imposing oppression is a powerful shock to the soul. On the wall, some people's faces have begun to change. This neat charge and the chaotic impact of facing monsters are two completely different feelings. One is the river, the other is the sea. This has nothing to do with strength, this is a kind of deterrence brought by cavalry. No wonder the cavalry of the Huns can reciprocate. Huang Chengyan nodded secretly. No matter what, the strength of these cavalry is enough to praise. What? Some Zongnu suddenly started to fall. It wasn't that people fell off the horse, but the entire warhorse fell down directly. In high-speed movement, it hit the ground heavily. You can hear the sound of bone fracture and even the head from the warhorse. They were directly torn apart. Killed on the spot. The Hun on horseback was also thrown out, smashed to the ground, and fell to death. The flesh is blurred. To be continued. Chapter 125, Pit. Come on. The loss of the horse's forefoot, especially in the rapid running, has very serious consequences. Once it appears, the horse's head is planted directly on the ground. In high-speed movement, the head is bumped into the ground. The ending is already possible. As you can imagine, the warhorse is almost dead and seriously injured. People on horses are still no different from being hit by a van. Throw it out and hit it on the ground. When this happened suddenly, the consequences were even more terrible. Moreover, it was not one or two that caused this horse to lose its forefoot, but a large number of Hungarian cavalry who rushed to the front all appeared. One horse fell to the ground, and the Hungarian soldiers suffered heavy casualties. Bloody smell, instantly lost the battlefield. There was a problem in the front, and the Huns in the back did not even think that in a place that looks like a flat horse in front of them, there would be such a terrible situation that the horse lost its forefoot, and it was too late to stop the high-speed Mercedes. Directly hit the war horses that fell to the ground, and then turned over. There are superb riders who jump straight and jump over the fallen horse. However, after landing, the horse also lost its forefoot. It fell to the ground in one fell swoop. Gee, there are pits. Pit, pit, Mom sang, what a big pit. No, why are there so many pits, pit Huns? Under the horseshoe, it can be seen that it originally looks no different from usual. The surface is covered with grass and a flat ground. Under the horseshoe, it collapses directly. Pit 1. There are pits everywhere. Under the concealment of green grass, I don't know how many big pits and small pits are hidden, pit after pit, and pit plus pit. Suddenly, the Huns on the charge had become chaotic on the spot. The Huns on the pit were called miserable. Before they rushed halfway, they were turned over by the pit men. The casualties were heavy, and he died directly under the powerful impact of the war horse. Trample, hit, and many Hun slaves were directly trampled into flesh. A hellish scene. For a moment, Liu Bei's face was like entering a dying workshop. The red, white, and black were constantly changing on the face. The two eyes almost stared out, watching the one trampled under the horse on the ground. A big pit and a small pit. The anger and injustice in my heart can hardly be described with words. The cavalry encountered the pit, and the pit ground was everywhere. That situation is definitely a disaster, an unimaginable disaster. Especially after the charge, I found that there were pits everywhere. It is even more of an unimaginable disaster. No war horse can fight in such a region, let alone charge. Charge is death. There are pits ahead. It was covered with grass and it was not visible at all. That place was a pit, and that place was not a pit. This is like a minefield with numerous mines. No one knows where those pits will appear. Anyway, Liu Bao felt now that all he saw was pits. Watching the deadly and wounded cavalry, war horse. Liu Bao's face was so ugly that one face had to be turned into the bottom of the pot. The anger in his eyes almost lit the whole valley. Torch. Burned out completely. Damn Hans, the treacherous Central Plains, you are too pitted. Liu Bao sent an angry roar to the sky in sorrow. A pair of eyes, looking red to Xuanwang village, the killing intention can be seen by almost anyone. If the eyes can kill people, I'm afraid Xuanwang village will turn into ruins. Looking at a large area in front, there is still a short distance from Xuanwang village. At such a distance, it is unknown how many pits exist on the ground in front of it. A group of big pits and small pits turned out to be the great killer of the Huns and the advantage of the cavalry. Such a large pit, no cavalry can step in, even if people walk in, they will fall into the pit. These pits are just too disgusting and too disgusting. Just now, there were thousands of soldiers who died in the pit, and even more were injured. The faces of many Xiongnu people showed the color of horror. Looking at the sweeping plains in front of them, no one dared to drive the horse forward. Looking at the ground in front of them, one by one showing fear. They never felt such a horror on the ground, which made them fear. Ha ha ha, it's okay to die. It's so deflated. This group of Huns also has today, it's so happy. It's just wonderful to watch these Huns cavalry horses lose their forefoot and fly straight out. It's wonderful to drink 3 bottles of wine and enjoy themselves. They also have today. These aliens deserve to be killed. I've dug a lot of pits inside. I'm sure there are a lot of pits. It's a pleasure to be able to dig a pit for the Huns in person. We are doing digging. We used to shovel and used to dig a pit. One dig is a pit. Now and is more than 10 times stronger than before. One dig is a big pit. Not a few Huns, but sorry for the strength of instigation. Quote. Good death, these cannibals, the more dead the better, dare to eat our central plains, then dig a pit to kill you. On the city wall, when a large number of people saw the Huns charging outside, they smashed into the big pit, and they all laughed happily. This is really very happy. The death of the Huns has their share. Before, after hearing that they would dig pits to set up traps against the Huns, the people in the village all enthusiastically participated, one by one, carrying hoes and digging pits to the ground. The people in the village all exceeded ordinary people, have greatly increased their strength and excavated pits extremely quickly. Without much effort, the villages were surrounded by large pits and small pits. In addition, the villagers who awakened their growth tactics were able to use their magical powers to allow the nearby grasses to grow quickly and quickly cover large pits. From the appearance, almost no end seedlings can be seen. At least on the surface, it can't be seen, but if the war horse stepped on, it would definitely cause the horse to lose its forefoot and fall directly into the pit. In particular, the cavalry who charged up was going to be stunned by the pit ghosts. Misery. The picture now is exactly that. Digging a pit is a very common method, but now it can play an incredible role. The Xiongnu suffered heavy losses, and the cavalry did not dare to move. The area in front of them is really terrible. Without war horses, the Huns became infantry, and the combat power was less than 3 Chengdu. The Lord's trick, digging a pit outside the village, is indeed the best way to deal with the cavalry. At least these Hun are impossible to use the cavalry to cross this pit area. The most powerful of the cavalry is to rely on the speed, impact, and retreat of the horse, but now they have cut off their legs. They have completely destroyed their momentum. Morale has been greatly reduced. The threat has been greatly reduced. Quote. Huang Chengyan smiled and choked his beard, and said slowly. Digging a pit is very simple, but at any time, digging and using it are not good for anyone. In the face of the Huns, who would have thought that by digging a few pits outside the village, the cavalry could do nothing? Self-defeating. Moreover, even if the Huns knew that there was a pit in front, there was no way to deal with it. This is the conspiracy that lies ahead. I'll tell you, there is a pit in front, dare you come? Yes, I used to fight against alien cavalry. I used stumbling ropes and stumps to stop them, but not many people thought of digging to make cavalry completely lose their power. This pit is really a godsend. I am afraid these Hun there is a dilemma. Quote. Yang Yi also said with amazement. The method is simple, but the key is whether anyone has thought of it. Although the Lord's plan is simple, it has extraordinary effects. Yang Yanping also admired Yi Tianxing. At least he hadn't thought of such a method before. All are facing the enemy with guns. They are often fatal. Of course, on the battlefield, no one will give you the opportunity and time to dig a pit. This is only the most applicable now. Adapting to local conditions is the essence of the military. At least in flexible use, Yi Tianxing has shown a certain talent. Kai Yan's gaze toward Shang Tianxing added a little more appreciation and excitement. This trap of horses and pits can only stop the Huns from cavalry. Let them reduce their strength by 70% in an instant. However, with the pits, I am afraid that Lu Bao will develop a retreat. My purpose is to completely remove these. The Huns stay here, and they are buried here forever. The dug pits are reserved for them. Send a signal, sealing the canyon for me. As long as the exit is sealed, it is enough to make Lu Bao like a stubborn maiden. No more room for escape. Quote. Yi Tianxing looked at the army of Huns who had stagnated in front of the pit array. His eyes were cold. In the eyes of many people, he could see a green light. That was the eye of human flesh. Such a person must not stay. Once left, it is a scourge. None of my conscience can speak of the past. Brush. A sharp ringing arrow quickly broke through. Rumble. As the arrow passed out, www.novelhall.com, immediately, I saw that huge blocks of rocks descended from the sky above the canyon and fell down into the canyon. There were rolling wood and boulder, just a few breaths, just block a canyon. Seal the exit completely. It's definitely not that easy to move away. No, this is to break our retreat. They closed the canyon. There was an ambush above it. However, not to deal with us, but to cut off the retreat. Good treacherous central plains. When the shaman's face changed, a little anger appeared in his eyes. This is to turn them into a concubine, this is to kill them, and to completely kill their army of Hun. Immediately, a strong anger came into my heart. If you want to eat us, then it depends on whether these people's teeth are good or bad, Lu Bao revealed the fangs. He said with a smile. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 126. Watching a big show at night. This smile is completely exasperated. The red light in his eyes was almost gushing out. The retreat roads were cut off, and the front road was a large pit. The cavalry was completely abandoned. In such terrain, the cavalry could not play any role. This was equivalent to letting the strength of the Huns be completely suppressed. People in this village know that we will come, and, already prepared, otherwise it would not be possible to dig so many pits outside the village. They are also prepared to cut off all retreats. The village and this village people are about to wipe us out. We have to say that the ambitions of these people are too great. A flash of anger appeared in Shaman's eyes. He is not a fool, how can he not see Yi Tianxing's purpose? This is how they came back from the beginning, and even everything afterwards has been calculated, from cutting off the retreat to digging in the front to make it difficult for the cavalry. The latent meaning that Xuan showed was to completely kill their Hun army here, leaving no one behind. It is far from enough to deal with my Lu Bao. Lu Bao said with a sneer. There is a good way for King Zuo Xian to crack the trap. Shaman asked curiously. The trapping pits here really make it impossible for us to pass. However, these Central Plains people can't come over. It is not easy to get over and want to kill us. Now that the valley has been found, the king is not afraid to follow them consume it. Isn't it just some broken pits? If there are pits, then fill it. Step by step, a little bit of progress, I don't believe that a small village will block my footsteps of Lu Bao. Quote. Bao Lu Bao's eyes flashed a dangerous light. He was secretly ruthless in his heart. As long as he broke through the village, that village, I want to let the chickens and dogs stay in this village, and everything must be destroyed. I want to make everything in front of them into ruins. Otherwise, there was no way to eliminate the anger in his chest. On the spot, camp. Lu Bao waved his hand and said flatly. The Xuan order was conveyed quickly, and the Xiongnu fell from their horses, but a large number of Xiongnu soldiers took bows and arrows, and they were on guard outside, looking vigilantly at Xuanwang village to prevent someone from rushing out of Xuanwang village. Attacking them caused huge losses. Moreover, someone quickly started to transport various stones, loess, and filled them into the pit. Forcing the big pits one by one, obviously, Lu Bao was not ready to give up the cavalry's advantage. It was a very stupid act for the infantry to kill the Hans and capture the city walls. They were not infantry. Abandoned the combat method he was most familiar with to fight, and Lu Bao was obviously not an idiot to this extent. If there are pits, fill them. I have found the valley, so it is impossible to give up easily. He didn't believe that by virtue of their current army strength, even with no cavalry, they could suppress all enemies with bows and arrows alone. It is impossible for such a village to have such strength. Sure enough, as the protagonist expected, these Xiongnu's did not immediately rush to attack and forcibly cross the trap. Instead, they chose to camp and settle down. This was to consume them, and they were digging and filling the pit. Fill in. I want to wait until after filling in, and then we will fight against each other. This Lu Bao's heart is also very tough. Huang Chengyan thoughtfully looked outside and said slowly. If the average person is provoked, there may be a command to force the attack directly. It was the anger that burned his head. But Lu Bao was able to still not lose his mind altogether in this situation. This mentality is already very simple. Don't worry, tens of thousands of elite Huns are not easy to destroy. We don't have many warriors and fight directly. The villagers and villagers in the village, even if they have become monks, have increased their strength greatly. It's okay to throw stones to help the defense, but it is too reluctant to fight the regular army directly. A pot of loose sand collides with a stone. The consequences are obvious. Quote. Although most of the villagers are monks, their strength has increased greatly, but they have not received professional training, and they are gathered together. They are a group of miscellaneous troops. When facing the bows and arrows of the Huns, they will still be hit by an arrow. Shoot. This is unwise. However, Lu Bao's actions are also in Yi Tianxing's estimation. And there is already a way to deal with it in my heart. It was one of the purposes of Yi Tianxing to block the Xiongnu cavalry by trapping horse pits and cut off the retreat with big stones, so that the Xiongnu had to camp in the same place. They stayed, and then he had a way to keep these Huns completely here and buried in the valley. In his words, a strong self-confidence pervaded his body. The army fights, not by the strength of one person to determine the outcome. Weakness must prevail over weakness. Let's watch it now. Huang Chengyan also said meaningfully. Digging pits is difficult, and filling them is difficult. The engineering is not ordinary. In the hands of the Huns, the tools that can dig the soil are not moved. Many of them are directly digging with a machete. It can't be done without extremely long time. Some soldiers stayed in the city walls for protection. If something goes wrong, report it immediately. Others can go to rest. Tonight, there is still a big move. As long as the plan goes well, a large number of Huns will be completely buried here. I let this be the nightmare of the Huns. Quote. Yi Tianxing glanced again at the Xiongnu who was preparing for various preparations, and the corner of his mouth showed a touch of coldness. Girl Zhaoji, it's still early, it might be better to go back and rest together. In the evening, there will be a big show to be performed. I believe you will not be wrong about this big show. Yi Tianxing said to Kai Yan with a smile. Zhaoji is looking forward to the big show prepared by Brother Yi. Kai chuckled her lips and said slightly. There is expectation and curiosity in a pair of bright eyes. I naturally understand that at night, it is definitely Yi Tianxing's time to make another shot, but she has no way of guessing how to do it. She has no talents to learn, but it does not involve strategy. The scene of cannibalism was still vivid, and the women's miserable screams kept ringing in their ears. Now that she had a chance, she naturally wanted to watch the Huns go into ruin. Zhaoji, you probably haven't practiced the exercises. I'd better take you to the Tibetan scripture hall to pick a practice. In my Xuanwang village, anyone has a chance to get a practice for free. Now naturally, this opportunity also exists for Zhaoji. Quote. Yi Tianxing said to Kai Yan with a smile. Ru Si, so, it's troublesome Brother Yi. Kai Yan heard, her eyes brightened, Ying a gift, thanked with a smile. It's okay, it's my pleasure to talk to a beautiful woman like Zhaoji, and talk together. It's my pleasure. Yi Tianxing smiled lightly. Kai Yan heard it, and he couldn't help but slammed, a shyness appeared on his face, and said, Brother Yi laughed. Yi Tianxing saw that he did not continue this topic. Some things must not be too impatient. The most memorable process is also in the process. The two spoke while coming to the Tibetan scripture pavilion. In the Tibetan scripture pavilion, Yi Tianxing did not let Kai Yi choose pure yuangong, but let her choose sitting forgetfulness, which is the most advanced method of building base. Compatible with any body constitution. The choice of foundation building techniques has a great impact on future achievements. Whether it was because of something else, or because of her relationship with Huang Chengyan, Yi Tianxing made her choose to sit and forget. After getting the exercises, the two returned home together. Yi Tianxing did not hesitate, and continued to return to the quiet room, but this time did nothing else, and chose to start to develop the second path of the 8 classics. Liang Weimai has completely warmed up, and the time has come to open up new Qijing 8 pulses. Yin Weimai is going to open up this time. Yin Weimai starts from the inner side of the calf, runs up the inner side of the thigh to the abdomen, and conforms to the foot yin meridian. It is necessary to open the Zubin mansion, the gate horizontal process and the Lianquan during the period of lamentation. 7 acupoints. The 12 cannons are connected in series. This time there are far fewer holes to be opened than before, and the difficulty will be reduced accordingly, which is suitable for now. Quote. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. I chose this strange scripture because it is not difficult to develop, and because of the yin and yang of the yang my pulse can correspond to each other. Once the Wansheng is completed, a part of the 12 cannons in the body will be connected in series, and the degree of absorbing the vitality of the heavens and the earth will become faster. There will be more to draw. This benefit is endless. Naturally, the sooner it is opened up, the greater its own benefits. Mind a moment, I started to think about the ancestral map of the 4 seas again, www.novelhall.com, the 4 seas here are the east and west, the sea is unlimited, the vastness is boundless, and the east and west, the north and the south, it is the quartet, which is infinite. The true dragon chi condensed by Yulong Tianjing has very overbearing characteristics, especially above the pass, and this is even more so. Much stronger than the usual infuriating. Moreover, He also felt that the true dragon's spirit condensed in the body seemed to contain an unimaginable potential, but he did not excite it. Time passed quietly. During the day, the valley became completely peaceful. No matter whether it was Xuanwang village or the Zongnu, they did not try and even created conflicts. Although the atmosphere was tense, it was still restrained. On the ground, part of the trapped horse pit has been filled. But the number of fills is only a small part of the total. The Huns are not good at these production activities. On the battlefield, those dead warhorses became food for the Huns. I unknowingly entered the night. Facing the night, the Huns did not relax their vigilance. The fire ignited in the camp, and soldiers were on duty in turn. Obviously, I was afraid that Xuanwang village would steal the camp at night. To this point, Lu Bao has responded. Soldiers are constantly patrolling in the camp. He stared deadly in the direction of Xuanwang village. I was afraid that something would change. To be continued. Chapter 127, Mingshou Boardwalk. First more. Post readers, interested ones can be added. Pictures of plot characters are posted from time to time. 477123342 VIP group. Alas, it seems that the fear of the Huns is just superfluous. In Xuanwang village, there was no movement at all, except that the soldiers on the city walls were still defending without slackening. The village door was closed tightly and there was no sign of opening. It has been observed before that there is only one way to leave the village, which is to use the village door. The door is not open, that is, no one leaves. Sting in a big camp. Bao Lu Bao was sitting inside with the shaman, and there were some Huns in the camp. Are generals in the army, warriors among the Huns. There is also a lot of prestige in the army, which can be said to be the backbone of the Hun army. But at this moment, the eyes of these generals are on the bronze ancient mirror placed in front of Lu Bao. Glancing eagerly, I looked carefully. There was a vivid picture on that ancient mirror. In that picture, it was a scene in Xuanwang village. You can see that in the mirror. In the village, it can be said to be a laugh. The people of the village were smashed into a blast, surrounded by fire, roasted with meat, and fragrant rice. The rice is a large amount of materials that were exchanged from the merchants before. There is grain inside. Although the total amount of grain obtained is not very sufficient in general, it can solve the problem of eating in the village in a short time. In addition, not every meal is eaten, and only a small portion is eaten every day, and other foods are used instead. In addition, the surrounding beasts can be said to be numerous. As long as they have the courage, they are not afraid of being hungry. Shang in such an environment, the beast is food. This is a battle between life and death. The beast is killed. The beast is food. Humans are killed. Humans are food. How? A good Xuanwang village, with us outside, the village can ignore it and eat and drink. The cheering continues. This is why I didn't put Lu Bao in my eyes at all. That's how it is. Snapped. Bao Lu Bao's face saved for a while, smashing the cup in his hand to the ground and smashing it. What this is doing, this is not taking them into their eyes at all, this is a threat to them without feeling at all. This disregard is in itself a contempt and a disdain for them. Treat them as nothing. How can I not be angry? How can I not be angry? King Zuo Xian, this Xuanwang village may not look simple. There may be capable people in it. Looking at the village planning, it is in order. It is very orderly. Moreover, the people in the village are harmonious. They can be built without worry. The city walls have just arrived in the new world, and it will not be easy to do this in a short period of time. You know, in this valley, there are no towns from the original world integrated into it. Quote. Shaman Uma said with a slight frown. He always felt that Xuanwang village in front of him was not simple. The integration of all walks of life. I don't know how many cities and how many people there are, but there are cities, but when they come to various areas, good luck may be in the cities, and bad luck will be scattered in various areas. After all, compared to humans, the number of cities is always very small. Well, no matter how simple it is, as long as the pits outside are filled, I don't believe that a small village can still stop my Zongnu iron ride. Tomorrow, we must increase the intensity of filling the pits. Lu Bao said with a sneer. For Xuanwang village, it is already a nail in the eye and a thorn in the flesh. Can't wait to get rid of it immediately. However, depending on the situation, the number of soldiers in this Xuanwang village is scarce enough to launch an attack on us. Most of the village are ordinary villagers and there is no threat at all. They should now think that there are a large number of traps to block us. If you see and move forward, you think you can sit back and relax. Tonight, there shouldn't be much danger. Shaman Uma said in thought. According to the situation at hand, Xuanwang village obviously did not intend to attack the night raid camp. Otherwise, the atmosphere will not be so relaxed and casual. No tension. Under the spying of Bao Jing, under the circumstance that Xuanwang village did not understand, there was no way to hide it. What he showed was the real side. Natural and most accurate. Intelligence. In Xuanwang village, it is absolutely impossible to know in advance that they still have a precious mirror. The probability of those Chinese attacking is indeed very low, but the necessary precautions cannot be less. In this valley, it is not yet known what kind of danger exists. The number of soldiers to be patrolled is not to be reduced. Take the time to rest, but the knife will not leave. Tomorrow, I will fill those trapped horse pits. I hope that tomorrow night, we can eat two-legged sheep in that village. Quote. Bao Lubao opened his mouth and shouted to the many Huns in the camp. Yes, Lord Zuo Xian. All the generals stood up and agreed respectfully. After some action, in the camp, a large number of Xiongnu soldiers began to gather together and fell asleep, leaving only a part of the soldiers to patrol around, but even if they were asleep, those Xiongnu held their weapons tightly in their hands. At this time, no one can sleep with complete peace of mind. As long as there is a slight wind blowing, they will be awakened instantly. Some soldiers can even stand and sleep. This is an ability that has been developed on the battlefield. The night was getting darker. In Xuanwang village, most of the villagers began to fall asleep. Quiet interior. A wave of heaven and earth vitality surrounds Yi Tianxing, and naturally forms a cyclone. This cyclone rotates around the body, continuously converging the surrounding heaven and earth vitality, and directly infused into Yi Tianxing. Become a part of the body, and then temper into the true dragon's breath at an amazing speed. And, when I do and know when, suddenly, the speed of cyclone rotation outside the body suddenly increases. Drive more vitality into the body. The second sacred scripture has 8 veins, and the yin and wei pulses have completely opened up. The speed of cultivation has really increased again. At this speed, if it is matched with the wishing force beads, it will definitely be faster. It requires a large number of willing beads. Now it seems that the number should not be so much. The increasing force of willing beads can be converted into true energy. The increasing cultivation speed can draw a huge amount. The strength of the heaven and earth. If the density of the heaven and earth is today, it is much higher than before. Moreover, the opening of the 12 canons and the 8 classics will make the speed of cultivation faster. These increases add up. You can grow up quickly in a short time. Quote. The second path of the 8 strange meridians has been penetrated. It's yin wei mai. Of course, this yin-wei pulse has just been opened up, it is still very fragile and small, and it still needs to keep warming with qi and blood. This process is a huge consumption. However, compared with the development of meridians, that is a small matter. It's finally late at night. At this time, people are the easiest to fall asleep. Attention and vigilance will be minimized. It is a good time to stage a big show. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and stood up suddenly. Go out. I came to the lobby and Yang Yi had arrived. It's almost time, are you ready? Yi Yixing asked. Well, everything is ready. The tunnel has been connected before, and people can be transported at any time. This time, I plan to let Delang lead and Erlang follow. Take a group of generals. Quote. Yang Yi said solemnly. The villagers who have awakened there, control of water, life have also joined in. They can shoot at any time. Huang Chengyan also nodded. Okay. Then we're going to the wall now, ready to watch this big show. Yi Yixing said with a smile. There is naturally a kind of self-confidence in the looks, which infects people's hearts, so that people around them can't help but develop a kind of stability. Zhao Ji is really looking forward to the big drama prepared by Brother Yi. Kai Yunwen said with a wink and a smile. I walked together and walked up the city wall. At this moment, in an empty place in the village, there is an army. Headed by Yang Yanping and Yang Yanding. Mainly Yang Jiazhen, there are gunmen and archers. Many of them carried buckets of water directly in their urns, filled with river water. Our task is clear compared to everyone, can we destroy this Hun army? But it's up to you brothers. The protagonist gave us such a heavy responsibility. If it was messed up, Yang Yanping would not have any face to come back this time. Yang Yanping took a deep breath, with a little firmness in his eyes, and said, you don't need to say anything else. It's time, let's go. Quote. With a wave of his hand, someone joined forces to lift a large rock directly from the ground. Heron, www.novelhall.com, a hole was revealed on the ground. Dong, the opening is not small, and it can directly accommodate an adult to walk upright in it. The hole was not dug out, at least not completely. The tadpole was the burrow left by the groundworm. The digging groundworm was killed, but the cave was easy to travel but not completely blocked. But stay, it even sent people to secretly expand it, so that this hole became a secret passage completely. And this secret passage is left just in case. In the past, the trapped horse pits were cut, the retreat was cut off, and even the location where the Huns would camp was almost completely estimated. This underpass can just pass under the Hun camp. There are holes in the secret to enter. I had already prepared a series of means for these Huns before. I want to give the Huns a real meal. Brush. Yang Yanping was ahead, and led the soldiers into the underpass quickly, lighting a torch, and following the markings already made, quickly passed forward. This underground passage is formed by the burrows dug by the digging worm, and has many branches. In all directions. Without a mark, it's easy to get lost. General Yang Yanping, they have already left. A soldier quickly came to the wall to report to Yang Yejun. To be continued. Chapter 128, Yelling Secretly. Okay, then we'll just sit and watch the big show. Yi Tianxing nodded his head and looked at the Hun camp, with a meaningful look in his eyes. Master, it's late at night, and everyone must be hungry. Let me go down to make a supper to help the hero and your generals. How about watching the big show while tasting the food? Qi Lihei approached and respectfully spoke. This proposal is good. You don't need to spend a lot of time on it. You can just eat anything. Mr. Lai's cooking makes me happy physically and mentally, my appetite is open, and every time I enjoy it. When Yi Yixing heard Laihe's proposal, he immediately felt that every flesh and blood in the body transmitted a strong desire. There was really little resistance to food, and at this time, there was no need for patience. Gourmet food is his shortcut to becoming stronger. Nowadays, there are foods made by Laihe every day. Almost every meal is eaten, and the physical strength of the body is constantly transformed. So a meal can bring hundreds of pounds of power. However, if you have eaten once, the taste has not changed fundamentally if it is culinary. Each time you eat it, the food cells in your body draw the vitality of the world and refine the essence of food, which can increase the strength of the body by hundreds of pounds. If it is the latest food, it has not been tasted, or even a food with a fundamental change in taste. One can increase the physical strength of thousands, even thousands of pounds. Therefore, Yi Tianxing has been destined to go further and further on the road of eating. Cannot stop at all. Now it can be said that physical power is increasing every day. It won't be long before he can reach the level of Heiding Erming. Now Laihe said to make a supper, this Yi Tianxing likes it very much. Please wait for a while, Lai Mo will prepare. Maybe the protagonist can enjoy the big show while eating. Laihe said with a grin. With excitement in his eyes, the more Yi Tianxing liked food, the more important his status was. This feeling of being valued was his favorite. A good chef, I look forward to meeting a good gourmet. Truly and seriously, taste the food you cook. Make the most sincere reviews. Underneath the ground, Yang Yanping and his soldiers passed quickly, and a torch illuminated the darkness. Let their eyes not be blocked too much. Wushuanwang village is not far from the Huns' camp. Even if it is more careful, the speed was reduced to an extreme state, and it didn't take long before it came to the camp of the Huns. Crackling, can feel the footsteps of soldiers patrolling from the ground above his head. Spreading underground, it looked very dull. Explore the location of the fire in the Hun camp first, and don't let any torches go. Yang Yanping quickly commanded. Immediately, the soldiers carefully went to the exit. There was a wooden board across the exit, and there was a layer of soil and a layer of turf on it. There is no difference from the normal ground. It is almost impossible to find it with mental calculations and without intentions. As long as you remove the wooden board, you can enter the ground. There are more than one such exit in military camps. A few soldiers approached quickly, carefully removed the wooden board, opened the hole, glanced around, and silently noted the location of all torches. Immediately retracted again to restore the ground to normal. Everything has been found out. Yang Yanping asked in a low voice. It's clear. The location of these torches and fires is almost all near the exits. It is very obvious. Moreover, there are only a group of patrolling soldiers in this barracks, and the others are sleeping. They are quiet and silent. Quote. Someone answered quickly. Okay, work is planned. Yang Yanping's eyes were bright, and he waved his hand, and everyone started to disperse. Move towards the exits respectively. While transferring, the people who awakened the water-controlling tactics followed a group of soldiers separately. Go to different exit locations. The night is darker. Even the moon was hiding behind the clouds and looked extremely shy. The entire Hun camp was quiet. Of course, it was not completely silent, and various purrs still existed, as well as the footsteps of patrolling soldiers, but obviously, by late night, everyone's spirit became very tired. Eyelids feel unbearable. Only the fire was still burning. Brush brush. At this moment, without any warning, a stream of water appeared inexplicably above the fire and torches, and then, unceremoniously, poured down on the fire torches. The amount of water flow was not small at all. As soon as it fell, the fire was smashed out instantly, and the sound of chi-chi-chi-chi was heard in the air. Not even Mars came out. It goes out completely. This is true of the beacon, as is the torch. I was originally a light barracks, and suddenly fell into darkness. In particular, the moonlight in the sky has long been blocked by dark clouds, the light is weaker, and it suddenly loses its light. This sudden change, the response it brought was absolutely terrible. Who is it? The fire went out. Who made it? It's invisible, it's dark everywhere. Hurry up, something happens. Someone steals the camp, get up quickly. The flames extinguish the fire, instantly turning the barracks into darkness. Especially in the case of the previous flare and sudden extinction, the feeling of darkness became stronger and deeper. At that moment, nothing was clear. The patrolling soldiers even issued warning sounds. Who shouted loudly to wake the Huns around? Puff puff. Ha, ah, I am hitting an arrow, and there is an enemy attack. Boo how, no, there is an enemy attack, it is a Han army, ah, I was stabbed by a spear. I was injured. Quick, ignite. The Hun was awakened in his sleep, but was immediately hit by a sharp arrow that did not know where to fly from, and blood was flowing. Directly stabbed by a spear in the dark, he was seriously injured. Screams appeared all over the barracks. Kill the Zongnu beast. Shah, kill, we have completely surrounded the entire Hun's camp. They cannot escape. We have to take revenge on the people. Kill in, I have killed 3 Huns. Kill it, King Zhuo Xian is dead, Lu Bao has been killed. The Huns are finished. Suddenly, in the darkness, a huge roar came out. The Jane voice is a voice made by the Han people, different from the language of the Zongnu people. In the dark, suddenly a group of enemies suddenly appeared, and the fear brought by that scene was absolutely unimaginable. Moreover, there are now real deaths and Hun soldiers being killed. The **** smell lingers in the air. This can't trick people. I was originally a Zongnu soldier who woke up from his sleep. Hearing the continuous shouting and killing, the fear in his heart was spreading madly in an instant. As soon as he is afraid, he becomes irrational. He is irrational and in the dark. The consequences are terrible. In this dark and dangerous world, enemies are almost everywhere except himself. There seem to be countless enemies hidden in the darkness. Is rushing into the barracks and killing. Dark night, awakened in sleep, shouting and screaming everywhere. When these come together, the entire Hun camp, it exploded. The entire barracks exploded in an instant. Kill, Han Chinese, two-legged sheep, I will kill you. All will die. You Han people, by nature, should be eaten by us. They are born as two-legged sheep, and they all die for me. Kill. The whole barracks was completely fry pan. A Hun soldier pulled out a machete, and desperately chopped down all around. In this environment, no one believes except themselves. They feel the thick evil transmitted from the darkness. Meaning, the eyes turned red instantly. All I know is that I am crazy killing anything nearby. At this moment, none of their hearts were safe. Only one can rely on. Anyone who comes near will encounter their wildest counterattack. A large number of Huns fought together crazy. Moreover, the chopping was very fierce, and the sword was dead. Squinting, and even the entire consciousness, is occupied by madness and fear. This is the horror of the bombing camp. Kill the Huns. Haha, they can't see us, we can see the Huns. Great, these Huns can't see us. Kill yourself, get revenge for the people. Around the camp, from time to time, a sharp shout came out, www.novelhall.com, to make the killing in the barracks even more intense. Everyone thought that they were fighting against the enemy and with the Han army. Fight. Sober consciousness is almost gone. All I know is killing, crazy killing, and do my best to kill the enemy in front of me. In fact, except for Yang Yanping who killed some Han soldiers in the beginning, the others were all screaming underground, opening the hole from time to time, stretching out his head, and yelling loudly. But the confusion and fear brought to the barracks is unimaginably intense. You ran in the dark, someone wants to light the torch, but immediately after being lit, he is extinguished by the current. I have no hope of lighting the torch. Alas, the time that happened was just in the blink of an eye. The whole camp, fry the pan all at once. On the wall of Xuanwang village. After Yi Yishanxing and others saw the fire in the Huns, camps go out instantly, the look of expectation and excitement appeared on their faces. It's started, it's finally started. The big show is happening. A bomb camp, I don't know how much the Huns will be killed or injured. Booming in the dark is enough for Lu Bao to feel good heartache once. When Huang Chengyan and Yang Yi saw it, they all smiled and said with a smile. The look was full of expectations. To be continued. Chapter 129, Sit and Watch the Huns. Qi Yangye knows this very well. During the march, if the lieutenant general fears the most, it is the camp scream, that is, the bombing camp. Because of the spirit of soldiers and soldiers, when the war is approaching, the whole nerve is tense. Any accident, it is possible to break that nerve and fall into a madness instantly. Especially at night, once the battalion is bombed, the soldier will lose his mind. Anyone who comes near will launch an attack, regardless of the enemy or me. I only know that I desperately shot and killed all the enemies in front of me. Or you die or are exhausted and pass out before ending. Otherwise, it is blocked by people with great prestige, such as a general with a great prestige to stop it. They have strong prestige in the army. What I say when I say something will create a powerful deterrent. The soldiers will listen. I can recover from a state of insanity. However, certain conditions are also required. For example, there must be fire, at least lighting, and soldiers can see each other's face clearly in order to recover from madness. Rue, no matter how you yell in the dark, it is hard to play a real role. This bomb camp, even Lu Bao, can't stop it. There is no way to stop it. In the beginning, it was already unstoppable. In addition, Yang Yanping kept screaming in the ground, as if the Han army was attacking the camp. It was easier to stimulate the Han soldiers into further madness. They've got red eyes. Most of the deaths and injuries, even most of them, will be killed in cannibalism. Almost sure. The bombing camp in the dark can't be stopped. Even the left-wise King Lu Bao, there is no way to stop it. How much energy can be saved depends on how Lu Bao reacts. If the correct response is made, the casualties will be much smaller. If there is no timely response, this bombing camp will be enough for the Han army to survive. Quote. Yi Yixing's eyes showed self-confidence. The ears had heard fierce shouting and screaming, the sound of the clash of swords and weapons colliding. There was a steady stream of screams and kills. In this case, the gods can't help it. It will inevitably be unable to escape the heavy losses. Huang Chengyan also nodded and said, these cannibals, killing each other and killing each other, is also their retribution. Kai Yan said softly. There was a sadness in his eyes. Seems to think back to the previous thing. As if to see the tragic end to those women again. Master, supper is ready. At this moment, Lai He has walked up quickly, and in the back, there are several chefs, each holding a tray. On the tray, obviously there are already cooked food. Someone has moved a table directly up. On the city wall, there is a relatively wide space where you can put a table. The tray is on the table. There are only 3 dishes in total. Another person brought out an altar of old wine, which was bought from the merchants. The number is not large, and the village does not yet have the conditions to make wine. Grain is naturally used to fill the stomach. Winemaking is too food-intensive. Brush. 3 iron covers were lifted directly. At the moment of opening, there was a light blooming, emitting a unique scent, and the light seemed unusually brilliant in this dark night. President, because of time, there are not many dishes that can be made, only 3 dishes. One is peanut rice. One is steamed piranha. One is braised wolf meat. This braised wolf meat is already prepared during the day, but just a little bit more seasoning. The peanut rice is fried in a unique way. The key is to control the heat. Every time you refurbish, every peanut rice and oil pot contact time should not exceed 3 seconds. Quote. There is also this steamed piranha, which is also cooked in a unique way. When steaming, put the ginger, onion and garlic together in the belly of the fish. During steaming, the ginger, onion and garlic will completely dispel the fishy smell and let the seasoning. The taste is deep in every inch of fish and bone marrow. Moreover, because the seasoning is in the belly of the fish, it can lock each deliciousness and make the taste 3 points. Quote. Greater than, while drinking wine and tasting the food. Watching the big show. This should be a good treat. Tong Lihei spoke and introduced the 3 foods in front of her. Although the introduction is very brief, and even the process of cooking some foods is not complicated, it is only in this simple cooking that we can test the cooking skills of a chef and control the heat and color and aroma. Huang Lao, Zhao Ji, as well as General Yang and Da Hu, sit down together and watch as we eat. This killing has not ended so easily. Just look at how Lu Bao will respond. Yi Yixing sat down first, and the food cells in the body began to beat up excitedly. Every cell is passing hunger cravings into its head. He immediately sat down at the table without hesitation. I'm pouring wine for Brother Yi. Kai Yun raised her vegetarian hand, held the wine jar, and poured a bowl of aging for the big bowl in front of Yi Tianxing. He then poured wine for Huang Chengyan and others. Yi Yangye and others also said thanks. Zhao Ji, you also sit down, but Lai He's craftsmanship is unparalleled in Xuanwang village. The cooking is all top-notch cuisine. Every tasting is the ultimate enjoyment. Zhao Ji, please. Yi Yixing said with a smile. I have clamped a grain of peanuts and put it in the mouth. Yao bite gently. Peanut rice has a burst-like feeling. It is crispy and bitten. The surface saltiness and the crunchy fragrance in the interior meat. The feeling is full of crunchy fragrance and the wonderful enjoyment from the taste buds. The aftertaste is endless. Just a fragrant word can already touch people and be immersed in it. He seems to be able to drown the whole mind. Very beautiful. Every cell in the tadpole is naturally joyful, and the vitality of the world is naturally integrated into the body. Physical power is increasing. This increase is subtle. I ate another piece of fish, and the word of fish was fresh. As Lai He said, all the flavors are locked in the fish meat. This method of putting ingredients into the belly of the fish can retain the flavor of each point to the greatest extent. Coupled with the fishy smell. Really is the entrance. Yi Tianxing did it by himself. I don't know how many times it will be delicious. It's an extreme enjoyment. I watched the killing in the dark while eating. Hun camp. Bao Lu Bao was also completely awakened. I heard shouts and screams in the camp, and Lu Bao began to wake up. I feel bad immediately, but without waiting for his other actions, all kinds of loud screams, killing sounds were heard from the barracks, and some even said that he had been killed. The fierce assassination immediately spread throughout the barracks. The thick, **** smell has filled the air. The bomb camp. At this moment in Lu Bao's head, a thought emerged in an instant. Immediately after that, there was a burst of anger and fear. As a general, he was very clear about the terrible consequences of the bombing camp, which was absolutely disastrous. Damn, it's over. Those **** in cunning Central Plains, how could they trigger a camp scream and let the barracks explode? Bao Lu Bao's eyes were red, and he didn't want to, quickly put on the armor, picked up the machete in his hand, and brought various items on his body. He strode out of the camp, holding a torch in his hand. Brush. The moment he walked out of the camp, a stream of water appeared in front of him, extinguishing the torch in his hand. Looking at the entire barracks, there is killing everywhere. There are corpses everywhere. Even if there is no torch, with Lu Bao's strength, he can already see things at a certain distance in the dark. I am killing. Where is any Han army? It is completely a soldier in his barracks. This is a bomb camp. I was killing each other. Zhu, stop me immediately. I am Lu Bao, the king of Zhuo Xian. Do you want to rebel? I command you. Guys, stop me right away. You fools, don't know what to do. Quote. Bao Lu Bao opened his mouth and roared. The sound was very loud, like a roar of lions. Many Xiongnu soldiers were awakened in the roar by the roar. Helplessly looked around. But the killing sounds around are really too fierce. Even Lu Bao, there is no way to completely suppress the sound over the killing sounds. In the dark, others cannot see at all. Don't know what's going on around. Even if he was awakened, when he touched the next Hun soldier, he still subconsciously slashed past. A bunch of stupid people. Bao Lu Bao saw that the awakened soldiers even fought together again, and his nose was about to anger. Grab a stick from the side and beat directly at the Hun soldiers around. Hold one stick and knock. Fall to the ground. I am King Zhuo Xian. Bu Yao, do ent fight, there are no enemies. Stop me. I am King Zhuo Xian. Stop it all for me. www.novelhall.com. Follow me, King Zhuo Xian is here, everyone is close to me. Shout out for me. It's my own person who shouts together, do ent beat it. Bao Lu Bao was black with anger, but shouted quickly. Keep people awake. He also quickly instructed these people to come closer and shout together. This approach is effective. After being awakened by many Zongnus, although originating from the fear of darkness, when they heard the shout, they also realized that the shout was their own. Suddenly, the vigilance in their hearts began to gradually weaken and relax. Gather slowly. Finally, there are more and more people gathered. But the killings continue. Some people have already killed their red eyes. Like battlefield syndrome, the 6 relatives don't recognize him. Unconsciously, a ray of light began to appear in the east. Chao Chaoyang began to rise. Shijian, the time of this night attack itself is approaching just before dawn. It was the darkest hour, but it was also closest to dawn. Although the emergence of light, the killing gradually stopped. Corpses, puppets spread throughout the barracks. Blood stained the earth. A lot of Zongnus have been cut, and they can't see their true colors. To be continued. Chapter 130, Deed of Life. The corpses everywhere. The blood bleeds into the river. Hundreds of thousands of Zongnu troops were completely wiped out in a bombing camp. Under the rising sun, the earth was like a golden light. Desolately in the Huns' barracks, it looked so desolate. I can see that many Huns died holding each other. Before his death, his eyes were all blood red. Obviously, the entire consciousness was completely immersed in the killing. Even if he died, he did not wake up from that crazy state. Thousands of troops, only a small part can survive. I even survived, everyone was injured, covered in wounds. It was a shocking thing to see. The people and horses gathered beside Lu Bao were not even 10,000, only a few thousand soldiers. Each one is mentally decadent. There was fear in his eyes. Looking at the corpses all over the place, he was even more afraid, and regretted his face. The color of fear spread in my heart. Bao Lu Bao was so angry that his face was dark. Squinting your eyes is like spitting fire. I never thought of it. In just one night, the soldiers were strong and powerful, and in a blink of an eye, they became disabled soldiers. All wounded, a decadent scene after defeat. This change from heaven to ***** is simply unacceptable. Qi Zhang, the contrast between them is really too great. I was too big for Lu Bao to accept it. Before that time, he still had an absolute advantage. As long as the trap was filled, the village could be slaughtered. Now the situation is fundamentally reversed. And it happened overnight. Even the other party did not pay any price at all. A soldier did not die. Just planning a camp tsunami and letting his army kill each other. This situation is even hitting Lu Bao's face. This is telling him that he couldn't even get on the stage during the march. Was it crushed directly on the strategy? This feeling is even more a sense of shame. An anger that cannot be vented. Sir, we have a plan. It's over, our army has been completely maimed. Moreover, even the battle horses ran away, most of them. What to do now? The tricks of these central plains are really too treacherous. At night, when the fire suddenly went out, I heard, there were shouts and kills everywhere, some people were shooting arrows, there were killings by the Chinese army, desperately killed with a knife. Quote, fear and paleness appeared on the face of a famous Hun soldier. This night is an unbelievable nightmare for them. I was too scary. I never thought that it would be possible to let them kill each other without costing a single soldier. This is simply heaven and earth. It is not personal experience, and it will never be believed. What should we do now? The shaman Uma looked horribly looking at the barracks in front of him. I was in a good situation, and mourned all night. The ***** Central Plains dared to ruin the great inheritance of the king. Damn it, really ***** it. Bao Lu Baomeng turned around and looked at Xuanwang village. I fell coldly on the city wall and saw it with my own eyes, even setting the table, talking and laughing while eating food. This is simply a provocation. A contempt. A mockery of Lu Bao. Fuck the Central Plains, you are too bullying. Lu Bao moved forward suddenly, stepped out of the barracks, and roared towards Xuanwang village, yelling, I am the Huo Zuoxian King Lu Bao. What kind of man are you? All you know is that you are a group of cowardly men who dare not show their heads. Quote, who is the lord of Xuanwang village? Come out and give it to me. Don't you have the courage to face the king? Liu Bao's voice, filled with anger, spread it out, like thunder. Instantly spread throughout Xuanwang village. Everyone is clear and audible. Damn Huns, what asterisk Liu Bao, how dare to say such a thing, this is justified. I heard before that there was a fierce killing sound outside, as if the village chief had shown his tricks and attacked the Huns' camp last night. Now, this Liu Bao should be angry and angry. Greater than, Zo, let's go and scold him on the wall. Many people in the village just woke up, and immediately heard Liu Bao's roar. They immediately became angry and shouted towards the city wall. Lai He's cooking is truly amazing. The stewed meat is chewy and tastes very good. The wild mushrooms should be used to enhance the flavor. The dipping material has a delicious flavor of the mountain. The entire taste buds are exploding. Wonderful, really wonderful. Quote. Ji Tianxing was deeply intoxicated by the food in front of him. The gastronomic cells in the tadpole hardly stagnate to draw the vitality of the world. Physical strength has soared again and again. Vaguely, he has begun to approach Heiding Erming, reaching a physical strength of 20,000 kg. Take a meal, the blood in the body rolled. Yi Yishanxing estimated that almost only a new gourmet meal would be needed to completely raise the level of the cultivator to the level of Heiding Erming. He also heard Liu Bao's angrily roaring sound. There was a slight smile on the corner of the pout, and he slowly stood up. Standing on the wall, looking at Liu Bao, he said, the reason why people can create a brilliant civilization is because human beings have wisdom and powerful creativity. They have knowledge. People are different from animals and animals because of human beings. Thoughts and emotions. Quote. Wisdom, knowledge, this is one of the most powerful forces of human beings. I am weak in defeating you with my own wisdom. I only know that with brute force, it's just a reckless man, like a wild animal. You Zongnu eat people, treat us as two-legged sheep, and treat them as food, saying that you are human and have elevated you. Your Zongnu, in their bones, are just a group of beasts in human skin. Against you, in any way, you are not qualified to make any accusations. Quote. You can do the trick, that's just to blame you for being stupid. Yi Yixing responded politely. In his words, he was not polite to Liu Bao. It was too stupid to point him directly at his nose. Who are you? Liu Bao stared at Yi Tianxing and questioned. The lord of Xuanwang village, Yi Tianxing. Yi Tianxing said calmly. It's you who destroyed the great foundation of the king, Yi Tianxing. If you are not a coward, then you sign this deed of life and death. If you win, the army of Huns around me will naturally not be able to survive. You die. I want to kill all of Xuanwang village. No grass remains. Quote. There was a touch of madness on Liu Bao's face. Suddenly a blood-red leather book appeared in my hand. This skin, I don't know if it was a beast or a human, and was confused with a touch of blood. In the blood, you can see the life and death deeds of 3 ancient magpies. Today Liu Bao is willing to use everything I have as the price. Take all the flesh and blood around me as the best. In exchange for a chance to fight Yi Tianxing to death, either he will die or I will die. Only one person can survive. Liu Bao issued a ranting roar. Then he pulled out the machete and made a bloodstain on the palm. Blood dipped in the palm, and one palm rested on the deed of life and death. Brush. The deed of life and death seemed to get some kind of touch, and a layer of strange blood light bloomed in an instant, spreading like a tide. On the deed of life and death, a vortex emerged, emitting a strange engulfing power, and a Hun soldier the dead body swallowed in and swept in. The deed of life and death was completely swallowed up, and the blood on the deed of life and death became more intense with each death of a corpse. The ravioli even forcibly ingested the blood that penetrated the soil from the ground. Red soil, returned to normal color. The corpse disappeared into nothingness, became pure flesh and blood, and was devoured by the deed of life and death. The tens of thousands of Zongnu corpses that had fallen in the barracks were constantly involved. Click the picture. It's terrible. The deed of life and death is suspended directly in the air. No good, weird, this Liu Bao doesn't know what to do. His decisive battle cannot be agreed. Let me go. Huang Chunyan looked dignified and instinctively felt a bad breath. He said immediately. The son of 1,000 gold can't sit down. The gentleman can't stand under the wall. The protagonist can't promise. Yang Yi also said decisively. This picture is too weird at first glance. The deed of life and death is a strange treasure. Liu Bao has paid the price and offered a sacrifice. The deed of life and death has begun to run, I'm afraid I can't hide from it. Has given birth to a kind of induction, that life and death deed is definitely a strange treasure. Moreover, it is still very special. This is a contract, a deed of life and death. Xian ran obviously, once such a contract appears, it must be divided into births and deaths. Even, Yi Tianxing can feel that in the underworld, there is already a mysterious power to lock itself. www.novelhall.com, this is a unique rule power from heaven and earth. Irresistible, unable to escape. In other words, escape is useless. Moreover, I'm more of a man. The role of a man has never been to escape. I'm also a monk. I'm more of a young man. When it's time to take a shot, we must take a shot. During the war, I committed suicide. Quote. Yi Yishanxing naturally overflowed with a strong war. He came to the New World at the same moment, was sealed in Shanshan, and was imprisoned in power. In the world, almost everyone is under the same foundation. He never thought he would fear anyone. What's more, he is a young man. I also have an immortal blood. Young people, be vigorous. The light flashed in his hand, and a war spear had appeared in his hand. The warfare on his body suddenly burst out. Dark hair that had grown behind her head was dancing wildly. Bring out an invincible momentum. King Zuo Xian, wouldn't you be too reckless to do this, we still have a chance. Shaman Uma said, his face changed dramatically. The only chance is to kill Yi Tianxing. Bao Lu Bao said unwaveringly, only Yi Tianxing was in his eyes, and he said coldly, Yi Tianxing, you dare to come to the battle. Nothing dare, Qi Yishanxing flatly agreed. To be continued. Chapter 131, Life and Death Ring. My king is going to tear your two-legged sheep into pieces. I want your meat to be eaten raw. I like to eat you innocent Han Chinese. The taste is really delicious. Bao Lu Bao grinned and chuckled, his teeth were flashing with cold light, and shreds of meat were hanging on the teeth, which seemed to be chilling. This expression is enough to make the opponent fear 3 points before the official fight, and the whole momentum will be suppressed. Fear before the fight, the odds will be greatly reversed. Obviously, Lu Bao knew the importance of momentum. Then try who lives and who dies. This deed of life and death should be a strange treasure, but it can never be a contract that can directly let me die. The deed of life and death usually only appears in the duel of life and death. In such a duel, only one person on both sides can survive. The root of life and death is to ensure that no one can leave halfway in the duel, and there is no way for the outside world to intervene in the duel, which affects the outcome of the duel. In other words, life and death deed, it will give a relatively fair environment for both sides to fight duel. But you are not without the impact on the deed of life and death. Quote. The deed of life and death is dominated by you. You contribute sacrifice. There is a certain rule in the deed of life and death that is biased towards you. The deed of life and death itself must be established. It must be approved by the dueling parties before it can work. However, you have unilaterally made the deed of life and death come into effect, and I have felt that the deed of life and death locks me in the first time. I promised and I promised, and I promised. Quote. Since you have blocked my escape route, why don't I dare to fight with you? Indeed, if possible, Yi Tianxing also hopes to kill Lu Bao directly, cleanly, and cut off the roots. But the appearance of the deed of life and death has been beyond his control. Only one battle can truly end Lu Bao's life. You're right, there is no choice. The deed of life and death, if there is no sacrifice, does require the two parties to sign a contract in person, but I offered the sacrifice, which is the tens of thousands who died under your conspiracy. The flesh and blood of a famous Xiongnu warrior. Therefore, the contract can forcibly lock you. Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, it is useless. Moreover, I will step on your bones and become a real strongman. Then build my great Xiongnu empire. Quote. Bao Lu Bao laughed wildly and gave a cold drink. Is it? Yi Yishanxing revealed a look of noncommittal. Brother Yi is careful, then Lu Bao seems to have some great evil skills. Kai Yun said, a touch of worry on his face slowly. Before she saw the women brought into Lu Bao's camp before, when she came out, it turned into a terrible picture like a dead body. Obviously, that was definitely not a normal death. Now it seems that Lu Bao must be practicing some this is a terrible evil skill. Rest assured, Yi Yishanxing showed a reassuring smile to Kai Yan. Brush. At this time, I only saw that the **** life and death deed had become more vivid. A large number of corpses and flesh were swallowed in by the deed of life and death. Follow closely and see. In the empty space, a terrible ring stand emerged from the air. The Nautai platform is made up of countless bones. You can even see the skulls revealing the stern face, which is very infiltrating. No matter who it is, you will have an inexplicable chill. When I saw that ring stand, it was very scary at first glance. On the ring stand, there were 2 long bows hanging. A couplet is written separately. I have no reason to come in. The callers come back as double lone geese. There is an exhortation and coldness in this pair of commandments. Only one who came in could go out. The rules here are so cruel. This is the rule of the life and death contract. Do not violate, unless the strength is sufficient to reverse the rules of the life and death contract, otherwise, only 2 people can come out when 2 people enter. This is an ironclad rule. With the emergence of the ring, 2 bloodless appearances appeared, in front of Lu Bao and Yi Tianxing, respectively, and enveloped them directly. The 2 bodies disappeared afterwards. When the puppet reappeared, it was already on that huge bone-shaped platform. Although the platform is cast from bones, it stands as if standing on a flat ground. Yi Tianxing, what are your last words? Lu Bao held a scimitar in his hand. When he held the scimitar, an evil light appeared on his body. A cruel look on his face. No last words, it's just a lack of self-confidence. You want to blow my morale out of words one after another, which is too underestimated and easy for me. Since I entered the ring, there is nothing else to do. Said, birth and death on weapons. Quote. I heard Yi Tianxing and said indifferently. The spear in his hand was unceremonious, and a spear stabbed at Lu Bao with lightning. When, Bao, the reaction speed of Lu Bao was even more amazing. The machete in his hand was slashed down with a mysterious trajectory. The sword contains a huge amount of true energy, and in that true energy, there is a strange magical power. Very evil, even the sword splintered openly. I heard a crisp sound. Lao Huang, what's the situation? The protagonist will be fine. Yang Yi asked after frowning slightly. This weird change in life and death deeds is elusive. There is no way to refuse. Ingest people directly onto the ring, and obviously, there is no accident when entering the ring, only one person can go out alive from the ring. The main character's cultivation is always mysterious. The cultivation is not in contrast to strength. No one knows the level of the hero's combat power. I'm afraid there are only a few. However, since the protagonist has confidence, it should have a great chance of winning. Quote. Huang Chengyan shook his head slightly and said. The strength that Yi Tianxing has always shown is unpredictable and always feels very powerful. And, now, any worry is superfluous and there is no way to interfere with the result. He can only rely on his own strength. Lu Bao should also be a monk, and the cultivation seems not low. How could he have such a powerful cultivation? Yang Yanping muttered to himself. I stared nervously at the platform. This is the first time I have seen such a slaughter. Fighting between monks, they also have a hint of curiosity. It's amazingly invigorating. His cultivation is so powerful. He has reached the 3rd level of Shanhai. There is a magic in it. This is not an cultivation practiced by ordinary methods. In this encounter, Yi Tianxing immediately felt that the power contained in the machete was really not simple. It was definitely the 3rd most important practice in the Shanhai realm. Moreover, the 8 classics might have been completely penetrated, get through. In such a short period of time, it is impossible to achieve such a degree. Normal practice is impossible. After all, the 12 canons are well connected, and even if the 8 sutras are developed, under normal circumstances, it takes some time to nurture. It is almost impossible to do it in an instant, except in extremely special circumstances. Special power. For example, Hao Ran is righteous. There is also magic power, the practice of magic power, and it is known for its rapid leaps and bounds. But there are various hidden dangers in itself. The method of cultivation is extremely extreme. Afterwards, there will be various terrible consequences. At the moment of fighting with Lu Bao, Yi Tianxing even felt that a strange power had penetrated into his body, and various erosive pictures suddenly appeared in his mind. There seemed to be countless witches floating in his mind. But immediately, a dragon groan sounded directly inside the body. Shatter all illusions directly and completely defeat them. This happened just in a flash. The authentic energy in Lu Bao's body has psychedelic ability, which can invade my body and affect my mind and will. If it is affected in the battle, even if it is only a moment, it will have a fatal danger. However, the dragon spirit in my body seems to be able to restrain these magic chi. Do not let magic chi invade my mind. Quote. All of a sudden, various thoughts flashed into my mind. Alas, there was no pause in his hands. After feeling that Lu Bao had a strong cultivation, with any hesitation, between his arms, the war spear waved like lightning. In an instant, he waved dozens of spears. Stab. Each spear is swung at a different angle. Every blow goes towards the point. General Monk, in the face of such a fierce spear, he was afraid that a spear would be penetrated through the body. But Lu Bao is different. His reaction speed is extremely fast. The speed of the machete in his hand is very amazing. Each one bursts out like a waning moon. The knife is like an eye, no matter how fast the war spear, can be cut off halfway. Dang dang dang. The collision between the machete and the war spear made a fierce noise, and there was a collision between the true energy and the true energy. Yu reading book, the knife and the gun were staggered. Lu Bao's knife technique was so superb. Damn, this Yi Tianxing is really a monk. Moreover, he is so strong that he is not under me. What he cultivates is even faster than the magic skills I have cultivated. Quote. Bu Guo, however, I can't lose. No one can catch me. Bao Lu Bao's heart was equally furious. I originally thought that what I was practicing was magic power. The speed was so fast that no one could match it, and there were a lot of resources. A large number of women became practitioners. Talent has grown greatly, and my heart has always been full of confidence. Unexpectedly, Yi Tianxing's cultivation was not inferior to him. At the same time that my heart was furious, it gave birth to a strong sense of killing. Only I am the strongest, only I can revitalize the Huns, the surname is Yi, you give me death and kill. Bao Lu Bao's eyes showed a strange magic light, and made a loud howl. Suddenly, a knife slashed out wildly. This sword is by no means on earth, and the change in power of this sword is by no means what any mortal can dream of. Although this knife has not changed, it contains the essence of all the changes in the knife method. Because the method used when this knife was shot, the position, time, power, and speed are all precisely calculated, which can fully exert all its own strength to the limit. There is a magical power inside. To be continued. Chapter 132, Big Chance Between Life and Death. The first change is to congratulate the life that blooms for you, the first eternal leader. Add more today. Close black lens bracket. This knife seems to be the ultimate of the sword. Under this knife, it seemed that the eyes were completely sunk into the darkness. In the darkness, a waning moon appeared, and a stunning light burst out. At that moment, it seemed that I could only feel the endless beauty of the lingering moon. Even seeing the waning moon, there is a kind of open-hearted embrace. There is a strange power that attracts the whole mind. Expensive. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, the mind was not attracted by the waning moon, but while the mind was immersed in it, a high-pitched dragon groan reappeared in his mind. Wake up the mind and will in an instant. Good domineering, a magical sword, this has begun to enter the level of sword intention. How can Lu Bao practice such a sword? This is simply impossible, unless Lu Bao's talent in sword fighting has already against the sky to an incredible degree. However, this is impossible. There must be ghosts in it. Quote. A thought flashed through Yi Tianxing's heart. However, it was completely suppressed immediately. There was a strong sense of war in his eyes. The essence of the broken jade spear method, the ***** jade war spear that came to my mind before it came to mind again, the kind of spear that would rather be jade than the whole is poured into the mind like a tide, echoing in the body. Staring at the scorching moonlight, the spear in his hand waved out instantly. As he waved, a tragic and determined momentum erupted from the spear like a tide. The real dragon's breath in the body is continuously poured into the war spear, so that a layer of streamer emerges from the war spear. Brush. Broken jade spear method. White jade shines flawlessly in Kyushu. For a moment, the steel war spears seemed to appear a white jade-like light, exuding flawless colors. 9 war spears appeared at the same time, and they instantly blasted towards the waning moon. Under that waning moon, the 9 war spears are like 9 stars. At the same time crashed into the moon. That picture was very shocking. Compared with the stunning beauty of the waning moon, the meteor is equally bright. There is another kind of indomitable spirit that has no death or no life. Expensive. At the same time, a pair of black and white scissors appeared out of thin air, and instantly turned into 2 black and white weird pythons. The speed of the yin and yang shears was extremely fast, and they were fighting, and there was no room for dodging. Most of Lu Bao's mind was concentrated in that sword. This knife almost condenses all his spirits. Now when I saw the two strange pythons suddenly cut towards themselves, I felt a little panic in my heart. But Lu Bao is not without a whole card. A flash of light flickered on his body, and a dark pair of demons appeared to cover his entire body instantly. The whole body was shrouded in it and worn on the body. On the demon armor, there was a dark magic flow, exuding an ancient atmosphere. Like the devil who came out of purgatory. Ding ding ding, click, the machete and the war spear confronted each other on the ring, as the moon and the stars collided. It can be seen that the moon is long and the stars are competing. A dazzling light burst out. Enclose the entire platform. You can hear the fierce sound of the collision of weapons and the huge roar, which makes the life and death ring tremble. What's going on? Why can't I see the scenery on the ring platform? Yang Yanping had walked up the city wall, looking at the void, said in amazement. This should be the level that has begun to touch the true meaning of martial arts. The sword and the spear are in conflict. It is said that any combat technique is being cultivated to the extreme, and its spirit and spirit are integrated into it. It can transform the true meaning of martial arts, and the sword can be condensed. Sword intention, swordsmanship can condense sword intention. This level already involves the will of the will, and once it is transformed, it is even more overbearing than the destiny of magic. It is the confrontation of the will. The magic will be cut. Quote. Huang Chengyan said thoughtfully, this sword method, the spear method, is used to the extreme, so that they have the illusion of seeing the moon and stars directly. This is the will of the will, which interferes with their eyes and mind. People are immersed in that kind of mood and cannot extricate themselves. In the end, they don't even know how to die. After even death, it is difficult to escape from that mood. Maybe what they saw was not really arrogant, but it was very close. Who will win? There was a look of worry in Kai Yan's eyes. Do not know. Huang Chengyan also shook his head slightly. With his eyes fixed on the ring, he was also afraid that he would see unwanted pictures. The light that enveloped the ring disappeared. The fierce assassination also stopped. I only saw that the machete in Liu Bei's hand had been inserted into Yi Tianxing's body and penetrated into the left shoulder, but the blade did not penetrate the flesh much. Just stiffly blocked, difficult to move forward. Instead, it was caught in the flesh. The battle spear held in Yi Tianxing's hand has been disconnected from it. However, the severed spear tip stabbed directly into Liu Bei's chest. The armor of Liu Bao was gone. How can you stop my magic knife? My knife is almost impossible to be blocked. This is the ultimate of the knife. The magic in the knife is enough to make the knife form the meaning of the knife. Live. Liu Bao's eyes looked at Yi Tianxing, and his eyes were full of puzzlement and incredible look. Because I've never been a pure practitioner. Your sword is really overbearing. With the power of the magic sword, you can forcefully produce a sword, but your practice time is too short, and my spear is not bad. What is contained in your sword strength is simply incomparable to me. Power is inadequate and skills are strong. It is still broken by force. Yi Tianxing said slowly. I'm not willing to do it. Liu Baoyang raised a roar. Click. With a roar, and only one clear sound was heard, Liu Bei's entire body was directly disconnected, and his body had been cut off by the waist. Blood, viscera, strewn immediately on the ring. Only Liu Bao reluctantly roared. He stepped on the ring with confidence, thinking that with his strength and his whole cards, he could definitely kill his opponent on the ring, but he did not expect that the result would be like this. His countless ambitions have not been fulfilled. He has not yet built a powerful Great Hun Empire, but has died on this platform innocently. Most reluctantly, he even gave a great gift to the enemy. Not reconciled, it was prepared for himself, but now the enemy is cheap. It's just heartbreaking. Brush. Suddenly a blood glow bloomed in the life and death ring, and Liu Bei's body was enveloped in an instant. A little bit of cooling into the life and death ring, a little disappeared. It's dangerous. Sure enough, I'm still not strong enough. It's really horrible. If I hadn't got the power of the practicer, my physique, I'd really die if I was afraid of it. Yi Tianxing couldn't help but feel a little scared. At that moment, it seemed short-lived. But it was a confrontation of all forces. That knife was really weird. Even if the jade spear method was exhibited, there was still no way to completely stop it. The 8 spear shadows were cut by the sword light, and the spear shadow was directly destroyed in a very strange way. But in the end it still collided with the war spear. The scimitar was supposed to cut the war spear, but it underestimated the power contained in the war spear. More than 10,000 pounds of power broke out in the war spear. Almost stiffly broke the knife. But the sword was really magical. After it collapsed, it suddenly staggered the war spear and cut to Yi Tianxing itself. If it weren't for the physical strength, the smelt's defense was amazing, and if most of the power on the machete had been consumed, it would really be split openly. However, in the end, he is still superior in technique. The congenital yin and yang eyes are extremely powerful, and the yin and yang scissors are even more overbearing, killing magical powers. When a pair of scissors go down, even the pair of magic armors are directly cut. Cut the waist into 2 sections. This is where Lu Bao is deadly. The demon armor should be a unique magical power. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Now Lu Bao is dead, and the entire Xiongnu can't stand any big storm. But how do you get out of here? Around the platform of life and death, there is a layer of blood-colored light curtain. Once in this layer of blood light, there is no way to get out. Now, the battle between life and death is over, and in principle, it should be possible to leave. Brush. But at this moment, all of a sudden, the whole life and death quake trembled suddenly, and the urn with no sign issued a dazzling blood light. This blood light instantly enveloped the whole body of Yi Tianxing. How is this going? Yi Tianxing couldn't help showing a shock. But immediately afterwards, there was a message in the blood shining directly into my mind. Feeling this message, Yi Tianxing's eyes could not help showing a touch of surprise, a touch of surprise. A good Lu Bao, even with such a hand, the life and death deeds have such changes. However, all of these will become a great opportunity for me. Made me a wedding dress. Yi Tianxing could not help but give birth to a trace of ecstasy. I really want to say thank you to Lu Bao. It turned out that this deed of life and death itself is for a duel of life and death. The rule is that once signed, no outside can interfere in the duel inside. There is only one person who can walk the birth and death ring. But this life and death deed has a way of sacrificing. www.novelhall.com. As a sacrifice party, you can not only directly lock the enemy you want to target, but you can also confidently write the life and death deed according to the number of sacrifices part of the contract. Of course, the scope of tampering cannot be unlimited. However, some favorable conditions can be modified. For example, this time Lu Bao wrote part of the contract. First, specify a duel with Yi Tianxing. Second, take everything you own as a bet. After the duel is won, you will get everything your opponent has, including Xuanwang village owned by Yi Tianxing. Once Lu Bao wins, the owner of Xuanwang village in front of him will be replaced by him. Rob. All the treasures on Yi Tianxing belong to him. With only these 2 points, it can be said that the winner gets everything and the loser loses everything. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 133, Mingjiao Xuanjia. Second more, there is a third more at night. Close black lens bracket. Not only are all of Lu Bao's treasures owned by Yi Tianxing, even if they are all cultivated as belonging to Yi Tianxing. Although the deed of life and death can tamper with the rules, only one object of this rule is realized, which is the person who finally survives on the ring of life and death. This point cannot be changed. Therefore, only the winner can get everything. All of this was originally prepared by Lu Bao for himself. He never thought he would fail. But he just died. That's why he finally roars unwillingly. There was even a trace of regret. Brush. In the envelope of blood light, Yi Tianxing only felt that all blood light directly penetrated into the body, and a huge stream of vitality poured into the body like a tide. This authentic energy seems to have completely removed all impurities and turned into as soon as the purest qi enters the body, it can be easily refined and become a part of self-cultivation. Yi Tianxing just quickly thought out the map of the 4 ancestors. In Shanghai, Zulong swallowed the huge amount of true qi with a big mouth, and then spit out a true dragon qi that he could completely control, and directly merged into the Shanghai. Let the amount of true dragon spirit in Shanghai begin to skyrocket. This kind of growth rate is the initiation. It's like a bottle of water filled directly into a new bottle. Shanghai realm is the foundation and the root of all monks. The Shanghai that everyone develops is a container that holds one's true energy. How big is the true strength of Shanghai? The Sea of Gods created by Yi Tianxing has a size of 9 feet. Moreover, he never filled Shanghai. However, the amount of true energy contained in Shanghai has continued to increase with the increase in cultivation. But compared to Zhujiang-sized Shanghai, it still only occupies a small part of it. Now, these infuriating energies that are constantly infused, naturally turn into the true dragon qi, enriching the Shanghai. Shanghai in the body does not have any pressure to withstand these true qi. Refine as much as you can. In a blink of an eye, the real dragon spirit in the body grew rapidly. Not surprisingly, this is the enchantment of Liu Bei's body after tempering. Under the rule of life and death, it is directly poured into Yi Tianxing's body. It is straightforward to grow and repair it. After a while, the true energy passed from outside of him disappeared completely. The amount of true energy in Shanghai also skyrocketed, covering almost half of the area. This is a big meal. Okay, the qi in my body has skyrocketed. Then I have the qi and even the qi needed to warm the meridians. This is an unexpected surprise. Liu Bao left me a gift. Yi Tianxing secretly rejoiced in his heart. This practice has no hidden dangers, and it is not forcibly impacting the meridians in the body, but just refining it into qi and integrating into Shanghai. There will be no surge in power and things that are difficult to control. Brush. Just then, all of a sudden, in the blood, one burst out in white light instantly, and irresistibly drilled into Yi Tianxing's chest. Immediately after drilling into it, Yi Tianxing felt that a space was suddenly opened up in his body. Inside, there was an imaginary white mist. In this space, he randomly rolled, fluttered and changed. But naturally draw the vitality of heaven and earth. Get involved. The mist was greedily absorbing the vitality of heaven and earth. Life trick Xuanjia. This is truly a fate. Xuanjia Mingqiao. This is the awakening of Liu Bei's body, which is now directly deprived, and is strangely integrated into Yi Tianxing's body. This process seems to be a matter of course. The overbearing deed of life and death can even deprive Liu Bei's life in jeopardy and merge into my body. It is really the victor who gets everything. If I were killed, I am afraid that my life in jeopardy will also be taken by Liu. Leopard got it. This rule is so overbearing. Quote. Yi Tianxing frowned slightly and muttered to himself. If the deed of life and death is so powerful, then it is definitely not an ordinary treasure. However, he speculated that this should be related to Liu Bei's modified rule. Normal life and death deeds, I am afraid that there will be no such magic. But it's obviously something to be happy about to get a destiny. This fate is the magic armor that appeared on Liu Bao before. The magical power of fate is to condense a battle armor. However, the potential for improvement is huge. As long as it is well cultivated, it is enough to make its own strength change again and get skyrocketing. Fate is more important than any increase in cultivation. Some people can kill immortals by virtue of their life tactics. Brush. However, after the life and consciousness were integrated into the body, the life and death ring was not dissipated, and the blood shown outside the body was not hidden. And in a flash, a huge blood stream poured into the body like a tide. In this blood light, there is a vitality that is unimaginably powerful, flesh and blood. It is pure flesh and blood, which directly penetrates into the body like a tide, and melts into every inch of flesh and blood. How can there be such a huge amount of flesh and blood? Isn't Liu Bei's practice already integrated into my body? Why can there be? This scene, even Yi Tianxing, could not help but give birth to a hint of strong doubt. This is abnormal. It is impossible for Liu Bao to have such a huge amount of essence in his body. This essence is definitely a level that can only be reached by the confluence of thousands of people. Did these spirits come from the flesh and blood of the Xiongnu soldiers? Liu Bao was so fierce. Even the Xiongnu's own body would not be let go, and it would become a stepping stone to become stronger. This is the essence of life. Ah, so huge. What now? Quote. These vital energy can be directly incorporated into the flesh and blood, or they can be directly refined into their own true energy. But this is too huge. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly in his heart. When these essences of life penetrate into the body, they have clearly felt that these essences can be directly refined into true qi cultivation, and can also be incorporated into the flesh, which contains vitality and can enhance their own potential. The problem is, these spirits are too huge. The speed of pouring into the body is even more amazing. There is no time to think too much. With a few thoughts in mind, the dragon of heavenly dragons went crazy, and a spirit of life was engulfed by the ancestors, and then spit it out into a true dragon spirit and fell into the sea of God. But this is only part of the story. There is also a part of the essence of life crazily drilling into every inch of flesh and bone meridians around the body. Gourmet cells, like eating food, quickly absorb the essence of life. Ding ding. In just a few breaths, the black tripod in the body reappeared, and suddenly two crisp tripods sounded. In Ding Ming, Hey Ding suddenly became more condensed, and became more real from illusory. Moreover, with the sound of dingming, an invisible rhythm instantly covered the whole body's blood and bones, meridians, and the entire body, as at this moment, was given an inexplicable washing, and the bones became more dense. Flesh is stronger and stronger. Hey ding erming. The physical strength reaches 20,000 kilograms. The majestic blood rolled and roared in the black tripod. Let Hey ding add a little more weight. But the physical transformation has not stopped. With the integration of the essence of life, the power is still skyrocketing, and every inch of flesh is growing and transforming. The yin dimensional veins that have just been opened are directly enlarged at a speed that is visible to the naked eye. They quickly become strong and expand. After a few breaths, they become stronger and stronger than other meridians in the body. At this instant, the warming up of the meridians was completed. This transformation is too fast. It was almost so that Yi Tianxing felt a hint of fear. Can't go on like this. It's definitely not a good thing for the sudden surge in cultivation. The key is that the speed at which my body absorbs essence gas and the speed at which it is refined cannot be compared with the speed at which these essence gases are incorporated into the body. Must find ways to diverge. Even suppress. Quote. Yi Tianxing is naturally looking forward to the improvement. But this crazy surge is too scary, even if he can't help but have the idea of whether there will be hidden dangers. Well, there is something in my body that is absorbing the essence of life. At this moment, Yi Tianxing found that a strong phagocytosis suddenly appeared at a position in the body, quickly swallowing the huge vitality in the body. As soon as my heart moved, I immediately discovered. The location of the engulfing power is impressively Dantian. Fake Dantian. I only saw that Dantian Mingqiao seemed to be very eager for these life spirits. As long as it was nearby life spirits, it would be involved in life spirit without resistance. In the life trick, after a lot of life spirits were drilled into it, an inch of soil was derived at a speed visible to the naked eye. These soils are not ordinary soils, but spiritual soils. Every inch is spiritual soil. Exudes strong vitality and aura. This expansion is very amazing. The roots originally absorbed the vitality of the heavens and the earth and slowly derived and grew completely different. It's a skyrocketing process. Dantian is a spiritual field. It is bred with elixir and can grow from heaven and earth. It seems that it can also absorb the essence of life to grow. In this way, I can fully integrate most of the essence of life into Dantian life. The expansion of the spiritual field in the body, the expansion of the spiritual field, I will be able to plant more elixir, more fruit, and more spiritual plants. For me, it is a kind of background. This is an improvement over mere repairing. For www.novelhall.com is going to be more secure and secure. Quote. After realizing that the vitality of life can make Dantian Mingqiao grow, Yi Tianxing made a decision in an instant. Don't think about it, quickly infuse most of the vital energy in the body into Dantian Mingqiao. Let Dantian Mingqiao grow and transform at an inhuman speed. The speed of absorbing life essence is far above the body and Shanhai. Even so, repairing for strength is still skyrocketing. This fusion and absorption, I don't know how long it has been. Unconsciously, the blood shroud outside him had disappeared. But Yi Tianxing's breath turned out to be extremely high in an instant. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 134, Bamboo Dragonfly. Third more, seek a floor. Close black lens bracket. There is a strong air machine that seems to cause a hint of depression in the air. However, after this instant, the air machine converged and disappeared. But it seemed that he could hear a crisp dingling echoing in his body, exposing a layer of strange light on the skin outside the clothes. Strange textures glitter on the surface of the body. Hey Ding San Ming, the realm is equal to the third place of the Qi Shanhai realm, but the power can be crushed. The strength of more than 30,000 pounds is enough to pat the stones directly into powder. It's filled with vigor. This is a bumper harvest. With such a huge amount of vigor as its foundation, it can completely strike the 8 classics, and it can be done naturally. Even warm meridians can be directly cultivated with true temperature. Quote. The most important thing is Dantian Mingqiao. The Lingtian bred in it has skyrocketed to a size of more than 3 acres. Such a size, if it is normal, does not know how long it will take before it can be derived. Lu Bao, you are my adventure. Yi Tianxing flashed a gleam in his eyes and muttered to himself. The gain this time is really too big, so big that I will wake up with a smile. Lu Bao, to him, really good. This time, the entire strength has undergone an upside-down transformation. Needless to say, the physical body now falls on the body, and even the skin cannot be pierced, let alone the physical strength soaring several times. This can absolutely crush most of the Shanghai Jingshu monks. Even supernatural powers can be broken up with blood and blood directly. Even Shanghai was filled. The 9-foot-sized Shanghai is much larger than ordinary monks, and it needs to be filled up. The resources it consumes are extremely scary. But now, it fills up all at once. It's like getting empowered. At least in the Shanghai realm, it can already make 1,000 miles a day and make rapid progress. It's almost flat all the way. It only takes a little time to polish. Especially to get Mingqiao Xuanjia. This is priceless. Brush. Just as the blood light dissipated, several items suddenly appeared in front of Yi Tianxing. Without immediately watching, he waved his hand and put them into the space of Lingju, and waited to see them later. Then, with the flash of blood, Yi Tianxing felt a strange force wrapped around his body again and moved quickly. When he looked at it again, he had reappeared on the city wall and stood in the position where he was taken to the life and death ring. "Master, are you okay?" Wang Dahu approached nervously and asked. "Dahu, rest assured, I'm fine. Moreover, the injuries on my body have recovered. There are no problems." Yi Tianxing nodded with a smile. The wound on his body healed quickly when he received the gift. He couldn't find a scar on his body. Jing Qishen has transformed to the peak. That life and death ring disappeared. Huang Chengyan pointed at the void. "I only saw that the life and death ring stand in the void began to disappear at a speed visible to the naked eye, and became illusory. This speed is too amazing. In the blink of an eye, the original huge ring has disappeared completely. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, you would hardly believe that the Yantai really existed. This world is different. Various mysterious beings appear one after another. Even cultivation exists, and any strange things are no longer unacceptable. The life and death contract has been completed. This life and death deed has no effect. It will definitely disappear directly." Yi Tianxing nodded and said, "General Yang, gather generals. It's time for the Huns outside to settle completely." Yi Tianxing's eyes fell on the group of residual Hun soldiers outside. The Hun soldiers only had thousands of people left, and everyone was wounded and slaughtered overnight, leaving them completely exhausted. In this case, it was rare to not fall to the ground immediately. It's almost impossible to say that we should fight again. A group of disabled soldiers defeated the bandits, there is no fear at all. At the end, they will capture them and kill them. Yang Yi heard and looked coldly. In his eyes, those Zongnus were not too lethal. It's just a group of beasts ready to be slaughtered. "Yi Tianxing, you have ruined the hope of my great Zongnu, I will not let you go. You and my Zongnu's blood revenge do not share the sky." Shaman Uma also saw Liu Bei's death. The entire Zongnu army completely collapsed, and the remaining Zongnu was completely moraleless. In this case, it was impossible to be Xuanwang village's opponent. Even if Yi Tianxing came, many people will collapse their minds directly and can no longer be trusted. He is a Huns. Watching the Huns annihilate in front of them, that feeling almost turned Shaman Uma's eyes into blood, showing yellow teeth and cursing. Then he suddenly felt an object from his body. A bamboo dragonfly. After taking out the bamboo dragonfly, place it directly on your head. The bamboo dragonfly, which seemed to be very delicate, spun up quickly, like a helicopter, levitating with a shaman. And, flying higher and higher. "What, bamboo dragonfly can fly?" Yang Yanding opened his mouth in surprise, full of unbelievable look. He has played and done the bamboo dragonfly, but when can the bamboo dragonfly fly directly with people? "Another treasure," Huang Chengyan said solemnly. "Bamboo dragonfly, a bamboo dragonfly that can take people directly to fly, this is a strange treasure. These Zongnu really got a lot of treasures in their hands. Want to escape?" Knowing what the bamboo dragonfly was, how could he not know? That thing was famous before. For a moment, the light flashed in my hand, and a bow and arrow was already in my hand. Pulling the bow with a vibrating arm, a fine steel arrow was placed on the bowstring, and then pulled away. It was easy, the whole bow was pulled into a full moon. Although this bow can withstand hundreds of pounds of power, for him, there is no way to be satisfied. The lethality of bows and arrows depends on the strength that the bows and arrows can bear, coupled with the destructive power of the infuriating energy poured into the arrow itself. For Yi Tianxing, this bow and arrow is no longer applicable. Brush, shoot an arrow with a bow, infuse the arrow body, and the battle arrow flies out. Like a meteor chasing the moon, in a flash, it had already shot towards the shaman flying in the air. The shaman saw that his face changed drastically, and he quickly evaded to the side. But I didn't expect Yi Tianxing to shoot him with an arrow, so it was too late to shoot an arrow into his body. What? Uma made a scream, and was quickly carried away by the bamboo dragonfly, and disappeared quickly. Let him escape. Huang Chengyan frowned slightly. This world can't just fly in the air. The sky now belongs to those fierce birds. The shaman flew in the sky with a bamboo dragonfly. He hit me with an arrow. He was bleeding and smelling blood. He wanted staying alive is not that easy. It is a question of being alive. Quote. Yi Tianxing shook his head and ignored. Flying in the sky is more dangerous than running on the ground. No one knows what kind of monsters they will face. Ding ding ding. Outside, there was a sound of weapons falling to the ground. I only saw that after the Huns in the barracks saw the scene where even the shaman fled directly, the whole mind completely collapsed and there was no fighting spirit. The weapons in his hands fell to the ground, his face despairing for a while. It's over, King Zuo Xian is dead, and the shaman has abandoned us. We're done, tens of thousands of troops, that's all. These Han people will not let us go. I don't want to kill anymore, let me die. A famous Zongnu completely lost his fighting spirit and muttered to himself. In this case, let alone soldiers, even a group of ordinary people can easily kill them. These people have no fighting spirit. Brother Yi, what are you going to do with them? Kai Yan looked at the situation of the Zongnu outside, frowned slightly and asked. Thousands of Huns, these people have eaten people before. According to the truth, direct killing is the most appropriate. These Huns have no humanity. They do not consider themselves human, so I will treat them as beasts. Mo Fei Jiaoji, you can't bear it. Quote. Yi Tianxing looked at Kai Yan and said slowly. No, I think it's not too much to think of what they have done before. Doesn't affect Brother Yi's decision because of Jiaoji, kill when you kill. Just thought about the Huns so powerful before, but it was also short. In a short time, the fly ash annihilated. This world is really too dangerous. I don't know how many people are struggling between life and death and experience hardships. Human life is too fragile. Quote. Kai Yan said, shaking his head. She can't do anything for the Huns. This is a group of cannibals that cannibalize humanity. Even 1,000 deaths are not worthy of any sympathy. That's good, Jiaoji, if you don't want to watch, then go back first. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. General Yang, kill, none stay. Yi Tianxing spoke to Yang Yi again. The voice was cold and wicked. If it is someone else, if these Huns have not eaten anyone, when they drop their weapons, he may not be a killer, brought back into slavery, and can also serve as a laborer. But let a group of cannibals continue to live. He can't do it yet. Yes, Lord. Yang Yi felt a sorrow. www.novelhall.com, nodded cautiously and agreed. Without any accidents, Yang Yi took the soldier out of the village and went directly to the barracks. Faced with those Huns who had no rebellion, he raised his weapon without hesitation, one word kill. Thousands of Huns couldn't resist at all, even if they resisted, they could not have any effect. In a moment, he was completely killed. One does not stay. The entire Hun army was completely buried in the valley. Yi Tianxing also stepped out of the village and walked in the army camp. From the eyes of congenital yin and yang, he naturally exuded a strong swallowing force, pulling a soul from the corpse of the Zongnu, and pulling them into the eyes of yin and yang. Even the soul has not let go. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 135, Psychic Mirror. Question mark. A genius remembers, in 1 second, providing you with a wonderful novel reading. Early month, seek the end of the month pass. Subscription collection. The souls of these Zongnu people are also full of sin. Even the chance of reincarnation, Yi Tianxing did not intend to give them, detained in the eyes of the innate yin and yang, and instantly swept in by the innate yin and yang map. Into the innate yin and yang. Constantly drilled into the yin and yang scissors. Let the shadows of yin and yang appear, one black, one white, and 2 strange pythons, and the scales on them shed a mysterious light. Vaguely, 2 meat ***** appeared under him. 2 small horns also grew on the head. This is a metamorphosis towards Bolyu. However, it is clear that these souls alone are not enough to transform the yin and yang scissors. But it is obvious that the power of yin and yang scissors can be made stronger. It also needs a lot of souls and ghosts to warm the yin and yang scissors. If you can get the yin and yang atmosphere, it is even more perfect. Unfortunately, the previously killed Xiongnu soldiers were sacrificed even with their souls. Maybe you can make a transformation of the yin and yang scissors. Quote. Yi Tianxing murmured to himself. The power contained in the human soul is magical, but the soul required for congenital yin and yang eyes is even larger. Now the yin and yang eyes have derived a second magical power. But there is a rank between strength and weakness. It's like yin and yang locks, yin and yang scissors, and now they are all just supernatural powers of Wangji. The ranks of supernatural powers are divided into Huang, Zan, Earth, and Heaven. As for the heavenly order, that is the most mysterious. Such magical powers are no longer known to any monk, and Yi Tianxing does not know. He only knew that the magical powers derived from the fate were initially Wangji magical powers, but the potentials of the magical powers were different. After some supernatural powers are derived, their final potential may only be transformed to the peak of the Huang rank, or even to the level of the Zan class. However, it is difficult to ascend to the level of the earth. Some of the potential of magical powers can be ascended to the level of the earth, even the level of heaven. Just need resources and opportunities. This difference in potential represents the limit for the growth of magical powers. The magnitude of power. Whether it is a yin and yang lock or a yin and yang scissors, the potential is extraordinary, especially the yin and yang scissors. This is a killing magical power and very overbearing. What can be manifested in the yin and yang scissors is only a strange python. Once transformed into a dragon, the yin and yang scissors, the power is even more overbearing, it will become a mysterious supernatural power, the power is infinite. Even now, it is the top of the Wangji magical powers. After walking around the battlefield, without a pause, returned directly to the village. Outside the body, some people naturally converge. There is no need for Yi Tianxing to make more commands. This kind of thing is just a trivial matter. To solve the corpse is simply as simple as throwing it into the river to feed the mermaid. The piranha's fertility is terrible. As long as there is enough food, if it is to be reproduced, it will not be long before it will be completely flooded. Back inside the mansion, walk straight into the quiet room. He waved and saw only a few items in front of him. These are impressively items obtained from Lu Bao on the ring. There are not many things: 3 books, a bronze ancient mirror, 2 tokens, a spear of war. The number is not large, but each one emits a strange layer of precious light. Lu Bao's luck is not small, or in other words, these things were plundered by him. There are too many treasures from the sky, countless, tens of thousands of troops, and even captured from the captured people. It looks like the ratio is not high. Quote. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Be sure, start to look at the objects in front of you. The first 3 books were picked up. At all times, books are the most precious. Knowledge and heritage are invaluable. Picking up the first book, the surface of this book volume even appeared a touch of black texture. Yin Yang Tian Mo Lu. Imagine, Yin Yang Tian Mo Lu, a woman can be a furnace tripod, to draw essence, plunder the foundation, condense the true energy for the double cultivation of Dafa. The more furnace tripods, the faster the cultivation, and the growth of cultivation with yin and yang. Watch my golem, enter my magic path. During the watching, a weird magic sound was passed from the book without any warning, and it got into my mind, so that people instantly had the idea of looking at this magic power and imagining the magic picture. Expensive. But as soon as the magic sound penetrated into the body, a dragon groan sounded again instantly, and it was unceremonious to directly shatter the magic sound and defeat it. Under Long Yin, the magic sound could not resist at all and was easily defeated. It's a great magic skill. No wonder Lu Bao has to engage with many women every day. Moreover, it is alive to go in, but it is like a dead body. The magic power is so powerful that it can plunder together with energy. But the speed of cultivation, it is truly amazing. In a short period of time, Lu Bao can grow from ordinary people to such a degree. It is extraordinary. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and took away his eyes from this magic work. If this magic skill is spread, it will cause great harm. Fortunately, it is better to say that if it is not determined, it will go completely into the magic path. There is no right or wrong in magic. The key is that they have the power to affect people's hearts. But it cannot be denied that this is a top-notch dual practice method. Putting this magic work together, even if it is magic work, it is also a crystallization of wisdom. Yi Tianxing did not intend to put it in the high cabinet, so he would put it in the Tibetan scripture cabinet, but it is not so easy to exchange it. Moon Sword. Level combat skills, one of the most terrible swords in the world. There is only one sword, named Divine Sword, and the sword divides the realm. When it reaches the extreme, the sword is transformed into a full moon. Between heaven and earth, nothing can be killed. The second book was held in your hand. As soon as you opened it, you saw a strange full moon scimitar appearing in front of you. The scimitar, like a magical character, attracted people's minds. There seems to be a voice that makes one have to practice it. This is the knife method that Lu Bao has cultivated, and it is full of magic. However, Lu Bao should just start practicing. If it really condenses the sword, even I will be slashed to death and die under the knife. This sword technique is very evil, but it is undoubtedly the top combat skill, and the skill in the sword technique. Viewing people's classics, what kind of exercise method is this? Quote. The third book was held in the hands, and 3 ancient urns emerged on it. I couldn't help wondering. When I opened it, it was amazing that the first page directly showed an imagination picture. The imaginary picture is not the other, but it is a picture of all things. On this, there are people, all of them are human figures, there are farming labor, hawkers on the street. Have emperor expensive stomach, lifelike. It seems that human beings are in every way. At first glance, it seems that everyone can find their own figure in it. It can be a civilian husband's death, or an official's child. Can be rich and poor. It can be a wicked person, a good person, a soldier, a scholar, a man, or a woman. Inside, it's like beings' pictures of human races. It looks very weird. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, he couldn't help but secretly frowned. Puzzled. Moreover, you can only open the first page, and you can't open it at all. It seems that the conditions for opening are not met at all. Interesting, it seems that there is a secret in the viewing people's scripture. Let me look at it with a wordless script. Can you find any clues? Yi Tianxing couldn't help but be curious when looking at the viewing man Jing. The light flashed in his hand, and took out the wordless Tianshu to investigate. There is also a paragraph of text slowly appearing in the wordless book. The viewing people's scripture is a special practice that focuses on people and is only suitable for human beings. Imagine the Vientiane diagram of all living beings. If you have a chance, you can find a suitable diagram for yourself. Thousands of kinds of imagination maps. Everyone is different. Because of their own imagination, they have different methods. Thousands of people watch people's classics. It is a unique treasure. For 10,000 years, you can only imagine 9 times. For 9 people to enlighten. When you visualize, you need to integrate your own blood and drip into the imagination map. After 9 times, there is no magic effect, and you can open it again after 10,000 years. Quote. The text that appeared on Wushu Tianshu was reflected in his eyes, which made Yi Tianxing's pupils suddenly shrink. Secretly in my heart, it immediately became clear that this, viewing people's scripture, is a unique treasure suitable for human beings. There is no established cultivation method at all. Everyone who goes to enlightenment may obtain different exercises and grades. High is low. There is no way to be sure what you will get. It may be the most common method, or it may be the most advanced method. This is the time to really look at your own opportunities and perceptions. There are only 9 opportunities, and each one is priceless. This is more valuable than any exercise. Yi Tianxing couldn't help secretly taking a sip of cool air, which was good enough to fly into the sky. In any case, its value cannot be estimated. After taking a deep breath, carefully put the viewing man Jing into the space of Lingju. What a treasure is this! It turned out to be a bronze ancient mirror. Then his eyes began to look on the bronze ancient mirror. This ancient mirror can be seen at a glance that it is definitely not an ordinary bronze mirror. www.novelhall.com, Psychic Treasure Mirror, which can explore the surrounding scenes and emerge in the mirror. You can explore the spirit veins and search for spirit minds. Able to explore Sunday. Know the secret. Wang Ji Yi Bao. Quote. A piece of text popped up in the Wushu Tianshu. This treasure mirror, called the Psychic Treasure Mirror, has a very amazing ability. It can explore the surrounding scenery, and even the veins of spirit veins, spirit minds, etc. Moreover, you can explore Jodian and know the secret. Such ability. It's amazing. However, now it is only Wang Ji Yi Bao. All the abilities are the most common. They can explore the surrounding scenery, but they cannot clearly point out where they can. They can explore spiritual minds, but the scope must be small and not wide at all. As for exploring Jodian and knowing the secrets, it is even more impossible to do now. Just a few weak abilities. For example, Lu Bao wants to find a treasure land where the Zongnu can thrive. On the treasure mirror, the scene of the valley emerges, but it cannot show how to get there. The specific location is not clear. It can only indicate that it is nearby. To be continued. Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 136, World First. ? A genius remembers, in 1 second, providing you with a wonderful novel reading. Bao Bao Monthly Pass, Collection Recommended. Open black lens bracket close black lens bracket close black lens bracket. This is as if in a fairy tale, the queen asked the magic mirror, who in the world is the most beautiful and who is the most beautiful, and the princess figure appears on the magic mirror. This is the same reason. The psychic treasure mirror has this ability, but the ability is still weak, and it is not directly able to know everything, which requires the treasure mirror to continuously improve in order to do it slowly. But there is also a limit to spying on the secret. Cannot achieve the degree of anti-sky. It can only be regarded as a sign. I was worried about finding a spiritual mine before. Now with this psychic mirror, I can save too much effort. Even prospectors can save it. Just take a careful look around the mirror and you can know if there is a spirit mine nearby. If a spirit mine can be found, then my plans for minting coins can start directly. Quote. Only with currency can civilization develop. Yi Tianxing couldn't help but be overjoyed. There were no guns. The enemies created it. This Lu Bao is really a treasure boy, a great man. Such exotic treasures can be delivered. Put away the psychic treasure mirror, and look forward to the remaining items in my heart. Then picked up that war spear. This and the war spear are all in a bronze color, and when held in the hand, they naturally have a thick breath. Moreover, the weight is very heavy. Ordinary people can't even pick up their weapons. The whole body has a strong breath. Ordinary monks can't dance even if they pick it up. Puff puff. Hold the war spear and stab it forward. The war spear is broken, and the sound of tearing air is heard under the spear. A very handy feeling passed from the war spear. Broken a spear and sent another spear. It is still a spear of great value. The magic soldier born from heaven and earth. It is stronger than the previous one. The weight is also good, although it still feels a bit light. However, it's still a good thing now. Only Wangji Shenbing. No runes are engraved in it. Like a blank piece of paper, you can scribble it at will. This is an embryo. Quote. What is most satisfying for Yi Tianxing is that this war spear is an embryo. It has not been engraved with any runes. Runes are actually forbidden. The embryo also means that you can complete the sacrificial war spear at will. This war spear can be sacrificed as a destiny soldier. Accompany yourself to grow up. But do I really want to use the war spear as the main weapon in the future? Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Many monks like to use swords. War swords can be sacrificed into flying swords and beheaded thousands of miles. It can become a pure sword repair. One sword breaks all methods, and some people choose swords, knife paths, and direct hegemony. But Yi Tianxing liked the war spear in his heart. Because, the war spear, never going forward, there is no life. After just hesitating, he dropped a drop of essence blood on the spear without hesitation. After the essence and blood merged into the war spear, it instantly turned into a streamer, penetrated into the body, and appeared in the Sea of God. Naturally, the spirit of the true dragon began to scrub the war spear and temper the war spear. Let the connection between the war spear and itself continue to increase. The village building order is still a gold village building order. In this world, the village building order has spread. Grab a token, and the token is golden in color, which is like a golden village order. Seeing the village building order, even Tianixing could not shake his head secretly. This village building order is not rare at all. In Lingju space, there are many face-to-face village orders. This kind of token is the Wanbao torrent that came before is simply the most common and common item. At least hundreds of village building orders were placed in the Lingju space. One such thing is enough. Even the golden village order didn't help much. Throw it into the space of spirit beads. Eyes fell on the last item. That was still a token. However, this token is different from the village order. At least on the village order, some ancient and mysterious textures will not appear. What token is this? Yi Tianxing held the token and looked carefully. This token is a kind of white jade crystal. The textures of the surface come together, like the strange blood veins. Gathered together, turned into a few extremely horrible ancient urns. The world first. In these words, an invincible momentum swept out like a tide. Suddenly faced. Let life have a strong touch. As if there was a big mountain suddenly pressing on him. From that air machine, Yi Tianxing even felt that if the air machine was willing, that air machine could kill himself instantly. That power is too overbearing. A hint of curiosity grew in my heart. Unfortunately, the first contact with this token was not Lu Bao or other people. If you know the origin of the message, you still can't avoid using the wordless script. I don't know how Xiaomei and Shiru are going. Now, at least, you don't have to struggle with this blood and fire like me. Looking at Wu Zetian-shu, I couldn't help thinking of the separated Zhao Ziyan. But it was also clear in my mind that if they were to be dangerous, they were absolutely not. No matter how dangerous they were definitely inferior to their current self. Shaking his head, didn't think again. Look up the token. Pass token, the world's first martial arts conference token. Those who have the token, when the world's first martial arts conference opens, can directly enter the secret realm with the pass token. Participate in the martial arts conference. A text appeared on the wordless book. This token is truly a transit token. It is the voucher to enter the world first martial arts conference. Without this token, it is impossible to go to a secret place unless it is a special case. There are such strange treasures, the first World Martial Arts Convention, Secret Realm. Pass tokens, will the World First Martial Arts Congress be held at some time? Is it still in a secret place? However, who organized and held the first martial arts conference in this world? If there are any people holding it, what kind of top power or power is it? Suddenly, all kinds of thoughts emerged in my mind and kept flowing back and forth in my heart. However, there is too little information, and no matter how you think about it, you feel that you don't have much clue. This is the first time I have heard of it, whether it is the first martial arts convention in the world or a secret world. The eternal continent merges countless fantasy worlds, the laws of heaven and earth have changed, and no one knows what kind of changes will occur. It is understandable that there are secret places. These things are not what I can explore now. If they appear, there is a reason and a reason. This world is too mysterious. This world is definitely not only the East, but also the West. It just seems difficult to know the news. There may be a ban by the will of heaven and earth. Quote. After secretly groaning in my heart, looking at this token, he still chose to put it in the Lingju space. Can't figure it out, naturally it will be clear later. Now I don't need to worry too much about this. When the world's first martial arts conference opens, it is natural to know everything. It's time to open up new 8 classics again. Now my body is full of vitality, unprecedented. The life and death deeds of Lu Bao have made me a rich man. If you unpack the 8 classics, you can choose a faster way. The process can be directly warmed up with true qi. This speed can be achieved after opening up, and the progress of opening up a strange path in 8 days a day. Quote. Yi Tianxing could not help but feel hot. However, there is no option to open up the meridians immediately. It is daytime, and there are many things in Xuanwang village. Moreover, he plans to hold a psychic mirror and try to find a spirit mine nearby. If it can be found, that is the most important thing for Xuanwang village. Cultivation can be carried out at night. The host, out of the quiet room, we saw Cao Zhengchun already waiting outside. Well, you go out with me. Yi Tianxing nodded and said. Yes, master. Cao Zhengchun heard, respectfully agreed. Things in the village, Yi Tianxing, didn't interfere too much. Now there is a 2-story house and 6 halls in operation. Some trivial matters don't need him to ask at all. Moreover, this is just a construction phase that is waiting to be done. No tedious affairs at all. Just hurry up the construction. After leaving the village, Yi Tianxing reached out and took out the psychic treasure mirror. The qi in the body moves into the treasure mirror in hand with the movement of the mind. Kill. A divine light shot out from the treasure mirror, and penetrated directly into the ground in front of him. Immediately, I saw that the light flashed on the treasure mirror, and the underground scene appeared, and a lot of soil and rocks appeared in the treasure mirror. However, swept away, there were no signs of a spiritual mine underground. It is possible to directly investigate the underground situation. If there is a spirit mine, there is absolutely no exploration of the treasure mirror. However, the consumption of true energy is very fast. Yi Tianxing was secretly surprised. This method of exploration can be said to be very overbearing, and it can ensure that there will be no omissions to the spiritual mines and veins. As long as there are, they can be found. However, the consumption of qi is great. www.novelhall.com. During the exploration, the qi is almost continuously consumed. Especially when exploring the ground, when Shengguang glanced, when encountering various stones and hard crust, the energy consumption suddenly increased. Accelerate. This consumption is amazing. Under normal circumstances, even the triple cultivation of Shanhai realm is difficult to support for too long. Moreover, Baojing only probes into the spiritual veins of spirit minds. For things that are spiritual, in fact, when they shine on the ground, they see almost the same soil. It's hard to tell what's really underground. What emerged was a layer of dark yellow earthy air. Only a piece of black yellow can be seen in the soil. Nothing below the village. Let's check the entrance to the valley. After Yi Tianxing explored the village around, no spirit mine was found under the village. It is difficult to know where the mineral veins will appear, and he will not look for dragon points. Only a little bit of detection can be used. To be continued. Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 137, Prospecting. Question mark. Find a monthly ticket. Close black lens bracket. Explore all the way. Unconsciously, came to the canyon. Brush. Suddenly, in the psychic mirror, a strange light flashed suddenly. A dark glow emerged from the ancient mirror. Suddenly, I only saw that the picture in the ancient mirror began to change instantly. A twisted vein appeared directly in the mirror. There are veins. Yi Tianxing saw that he couldn't help but feel a little joy, and the whole heart could not shake. This is simply great news. The appearance of this mineral vein undoubtedly represents that the psychic treasure mirror can really detect the traces of underground mineral veins. Master, old slave digs a few pieces over. Cao Zhengchun said immediately. The veins were detected under the mountain to the left of the canyon. Before coming out, after knowing that he was going to explore the mine, Cao Zhengchun held a shovel in his hand, which was handy in the village. Use this military shovel. Yi Tianxing took out a military shovel and handed it to Cao Zhengchun. Just by sharpness and convenience, the military shovel can be said to be quite sharp, much better than a shovel. Cao Zhengchun took the military shovel and quickly rushed to the foot of the mountain where the veins were detected. The body was perfused into the military shovel. The military shovel became sharp when it was digged. The ground was just like tofu. Digging, a lot of soil was quickly thrown around. Digging the soil with the power of a monk, plus powerful tools. It can be said that it is quite easy to mix together. That vein is not deep from the ground, and it can even be said that it is almost equivalent to an open-air vein. Just covered by a layer of soil. Ding! Not long after, there was a crisp sound in the ground. Then Cao Zhengchun jumped out of the ground quickly, holding a dark red ore in his hand. It's iron ore. This is an iron ore vein. Yi Tianxing saw the ore taken out by Cao Zhengchun in his eyes. The color of this is this dark red, and, in the hands, has a lot of weight. This is a hematite vein. From previous exploration, the scale of this hematite vein is not small. It has been moving underground and out of the valley. It is definitely not a small ore vein. It has been developed, and the demand for pig iron in Xuanwang village will be greatly alleviated, so that Xuanwang village will no longer lack iron. Truly self-sufficient. Once there is enough iron ore, the blacksmith can create a large number of weapons and armor. Tools, etc., can make the construction speed in the village increase again. Okay, hard work. This iron ore vein can be regarded as a solution to the urgent needs of the village. The weapons and iron blocks you got from the tourist merchants will not last long. There is this vein in the future, and you don't need to be pinned by iron. Quote. There was a hint of joy in the corners of Yi Tianxing's mouth. This is very important for the current village. This is all the luck of the owner. Cao Zhengchun said, with great respect. An iron ore is nothing, we continue to explore and hope to find other veins nearby. Phoenix can't fall without land. Phoenix can set foot in the valley, there must be heavy treasure in the place, but this valley should also contain vulgar aura. Quote. Yi Tianxing was not satisfied with finding an iron ore. Iron ore has just begun. Yes, on the left, is there on the right? A thought emerged from Yi Tianxing's mind, and the subconscious began to explore the mountain on the right with a psychic mirror. Brush. Almost at the moment of investigation, a layer of bright light emerged from the treasure mirror. Very dazzling. There seems to be aura coming out directly. Crystal mine, a sparse spirit mine. Rao as Yi Tianxing's heart cannot help but let out a cry, exultation in his eyes. The huge aura that emerges from the treasure mirror can clearly know that it is definitely a spiritual vein. The biggest possibility is the spar spirit mine. Quick dig towards the foot of the mountain. I want to know if it is a spar spirit mine. A flash of excitement flashed through Yi Tianxing's eyes, and he said flatly, "Yes, master." Cao Zhengchun didn't need to order at all. When Yi Tianxing called out a spiritual mine, he quickly picked up the military shovel and quickly dig at the foot of the mountain. With arms like the wind, there is no saving for qi. This spiritual mine is obviously not too deep from the ground. With Cao Zhengchun's crazy digging, a clear sound came. Then he jumped out of the big dig. "Master, you see, this was dug out of the ground. The old slave can feel that this spar contains a wealth of heaven and earth. And it is quite pure." Cao Zhengchun came to Yi Tianxing with a few pieces of ore, and said with joy on his face, "That ore is a stone like black coal, but the whole body flashes, and the texture is like crystal jade. It seems to contain a strange heaven and earth vitality, which is very pure, at least more than the heaven and earth vitality that it usually draws from heaven and earth. Coming more pure, this is the real vitality. Gather together, and finally condense the essence, spiritual mine." Spirit mines are composed of pure heaven and earth vitality. For some special reason, they come together and flow endlessly. After a long time, they are condensed. It contains huge heaven and earth vitality. Now the color is black iron, this should be heaven and earth. Black iron spar with the lowest concentration, the lowest purity, and the worst quality. This is the periphery of the crystal ore. Digging inside will definitely improve the quality. It is possible to dig bronze crystals, silver crystals, or even gold crystals. Higher quality top-grade crystal ore. Quote. The joy in Yi Tianxing's eyes could not be masked. The benefits of discovering a spiritual mine are unimaginable. For example, if a gate is able to grow, it may be based on 2 crystal mines. Such value can be imagined. Almost priceless. Wong. When Cao Zhengchun handed the black iron spar to Yi Tianxing, a dog bark came, and a figure quickly passed. The black iron spar in Cao Zhengchun's hand had disappeared. Green Emperor. Yi Tianxing saw a slight frown, his eyelids beating, and he felt a headache. No one can do it except Cao Zhengchun, who can spar it away. Wow, my emperor was weird before. You sneaked out to do something. Fortunately, my emperor was clever and followed him secretly. Otherwise, you might want to miss such a treasure. It's delicious, I feel supremely delicious. This is delicious. It's so tempting, my saliva is coming out. I couldn't bear to find such a delicious thing without even telling me. What is this stone, and I feel that it will definitely be good for me. Stone, what are you? I'm going to eat you now. If you have any opinions, you shouldn't hear them if you have any opinions. You don't need to object. I will never give up eating your thoughts. Stone, you seduced me yourself. Green Emperor first stared at Yi Tianxing's contemptuous mockery. Then he shouted at the black iron crystal under the paw. The eyes were green, but the mouth couldn't stop. On the road of words, it is already distant. Click. As he held his arms, he bit his mouth at the spar. I don't know how the emperor's teeth grow. When the teeth bite on it, he bites a spar and chews it in his mouth. It made a crunchy sound, as if it were eating fried beans. However, after tasting the taste, Green Emperor's eyes narrowed immediately, and the whole spar was eaten directly by 3 mouthfuls. It's delicious. It's delicious. I feel like having a big meal. The emperor's entire body was shaking, and it was shaking with excitement. It felt that eating spar was much better than cheekbones. It was a heaven and a hell. Nothing comparable. It felt that after eating it, there seemed to be a flow of heat in the body, drilling into every inch of flesh and bone, and then it felt that its own strength began to strengthen. You evil dog, dare to eat anything, no wonder you can even eat moldy meat buns. Yi Tianxing saw the emperor ate the whole spar, and he was also enjoying himself. The corner of his mouth took a moment to save, shook his head and scolded. How do you know that the emperor ate the moldy meat buns, and it was only when the emperor ate the broken stuff that it became what it is now. However, the moldy baozi is really delicious, even better than this black stone. Eat, really, drool is flowing 3,000 feet. Quote. The emperor's expression of endless aftertaste seemed to be yearning. 3,000 feet of drool. Especially when I heard the Green Emperor say such a thing, there was an urge to suffocate it. However, my heart is secretly stunned, the emerald face spar can eat. It still tastes delicious, and it seems that its constitution has undergone a fundamental transformation, www.novelhall.com, it becomes difficult to imagine what it is. You eat the spar, and roll it to me now. Close your mouth, otherwise, I'll tie your mouth up again, your mold must not kill me. Fight drinking water between the teeth, I will hang you up and expose myself for 3 days and nights. Quote. Yi Tianxing said after frowning slightly. No, you can't do this. I'm a green emperor, you can't treat a handsome emperor like me like this. I'm a dog emperor, I have to be hung up. What emperor will face my subjects in the future? Green emperor opened another crackling clamshell. Shut up, you can stay aside for me quietly, and eat spar every day. You have to say one more thing. I can't eat your scum. Yi Tianxing gave a cold drink. That broken voice is a great torture. Wang, the Green Emperor heard, his eyes narrowed, and immediately closed his mouth, his eyes staring at the big pit below, and it was really drooling out at 3,000 feet. To be continued. Chapter 138, Coin. Open black lens bracket begging. Close black lens bracket. When the Emperor heard that the spar was eaten in the future, he immediately put his eyes out, and the fart ran to the hole, squatting his ass, and sitting in front of the spar mine, his eyes narrowed and kept glance around, a pair ready to stare at the spar mine at any time, not let anyone steal any spar from its eyes. In its view, it is already the best cuisine. Own rations. No accidents can be tolerated. When Yi Tianxing saw it, he just shook his head and didn't say anything. As long as the Green Emperor didn't speak, it was the most perfect. Moreover, if the Green Emperor was here, it must be a stranger who didn't enter. Absolutely safe. Zhengchun, tell Huang Lao to bring someone over. Also, let Shui Jin come over. Let Yang Yanping bring a team of soldiers. Yi Tianxing said quickly. The significance of finding crystal ore is too great. Although it is not known how much crystal ore reserves are here, it is already an inconceivable wealth for now. This spiritual mine belongs to Xuanwang the village. However, the temptation of spar can never be underestimated. This is a treasure that allows monks to quickly increase their repairs. Who knows if someone will not be able to withstand the temptation and eventually steal. With the Green Emperor, you can be sure of foolproof. Cao Zhengchun left quickly. For a moment, a team of soldiers rushed over quickly under the leadership of Yang Yanping. Huang Chengyan and Shui Jin were among them. Master, I really found a spirit mine. Huang Chengyan asked with excitement in his eyes. Quickly, get around all of this. No one is allowed to approach it easily. Yang Yanping waved and instructed the soldiers who came to quickly turn the entire vicinity of the crystal mine into a warning range. Master, here is the spirit mine, and the aura inside is really strong. It is said that the spirit mine is the essence of the heaven and earth vitality condensed and has great attraction to the monks. It can speed up the cultivation. With this spirit mine, our entire Xuanwang village, all must have a great increase in the background. The growth rate will inevitably be faster. Quote. Shui Jin's eyes were going to light up. He comes from a businessman, and is more sensitive to money than anyone else. He can feel that ordinary gold and silver are certainly impossible to circulate between monks, and only this kind of spar useful to monks can have value between monks and have purchasing power. The existence of spiritual mines is undoubtedly one of the most common practice treasures and even one of the necessities of spiritual practice. It is also the item most likely to become money. Moreover, he heard Huang Chengyan inadvertently mentioned before that as long as the crystal ore is found, real currency can be minted. Therefore, I have long speculated that these spar may be the currency in Xuanwang village in the future, or even the currency in the entire eternal continent. As a businessman, he knew very well that only currency can promote the development of the entire force. I intend to use these spar to mint currency suitable for Xuanwang village today. In the future, these currencies will belong to the Palace of Mansion to manage it. Even the rights to mint coins will be passed to the Palace of Mansion to manage. Crystal mine, it's the raw material for coinage. You were a business witch before, and this time I called you here to hear if you have any suggestions for coinage. Quote. He has a specialty in surgery, and Yi Tianxing has never felt that he is all round. It is impossible to do everything. It can only be controlled in the direction. Some things are most accurate when you ask a professional. The protagonist's use of spiritual mineral crystals to mint currency is obviously extremely correct. Today's eternal continent is bound to step into spiritual civilization, and the number of monks will increase. As far as Xuanwang village is concerned, ordinary gold and silver are no longer suitable for trading. Quote. Money is money because money itself is valuable, it is scarce, and it is needed. Ordinary people, gold and silver are precious and very scarce, so they will become a currency that everyone can accept. Circulation, in the eyes of monks, gold and silver are like scrap iron. But spar can increase the practice and is useful to every monk. Everyone needs and has a need, and its value naturally increases. Quote. Shui Jin apparently has his own experience of these things. He can start from scratch and it is impossible for his mind to go anywhere. However, if the protagonist mints coins with spar, it must be different from the original spar. Otherwise, the coin is cast with spar, which is not much different from the spar itself. Others use spar. It is also possible to trade. Now it is okay. If in the future, any spar can be used to buy and sell goods, the currency system will be impacted. There is no difference between minting and not minting. Instead of coining, it is better to use spar directly. Transaction. Shui Jin opened her mouth to express her concerns. If you really use spar to divide it and polish it into coins, what is the difference from the original spar? When it is most critical, it is vulnerable to the impact of external currencies. Financial systems that are easily affected by people. Any currency needs to be equivalent. There is no imitation. It is like the currency of any country. Once counterfeit currency appears and it spreads on a large scale, the consequences and effects will be too great. Currency is the first face shown by a power. Well, if you want to mint money, it must be unique, and it must have its liquidity and be acceptable to monks. It has the same characteristics as spar. People have a habit. They are familiar with a currency later, it will be recognized, and when it is traded, it will be traded in units of currency. But there is a problem now. Quote. The spar is absorbed and refined, and it will directly collapse into powder, become dust, completely disappear, and leave nothing. If it is minted into money, it can be refined by people. Once refined, the coins will also be transformed. For nothing, there is no existence at all. This is no different from spar. If the coins can be minted, they will not be completely consumed. They can also draw the vitality of the world. After absorption, they can still keep the coins intact. Shui Jin, which one do you think is more suitable for circulation as coins? Quote. Yi Tianxing spoke his hesitation. If you use pure spar to mint money, it is obvious that once the minted currency absorbs the energy in it, it becomes a powder. Refining one, there is one less. If it is minted in a special way, it may be possible to keep the currency from being destroyed. But after the energy is absorbed, can it still be circulated as money? This is where Yi Tianxing secretly hesitates. There is no vitality in it, and the minted currency is no different from that minted in gold and silver. No one will buy it. If the protagonist has a way, it is best to mint coins that will not be destroyed after absorbing the vitality of heaven and earth. The subordinates feel that the spar is formed by the consolidation of heaven and earth's vitality. It cannot be born overnight, but the monks will come the more the demand for spar will increase. Once it is consumed, it will really lose a part. In the end, it may make the spar less and less. It may even dry up. If it can be cast, it can be permanently grown. Saved currency, maybe it can produce incredible changes. Quote. Shui Jin groaned and said slowly. Hearing Yi Tianxing, he couldn't help but take a deep look at him. From this sentence, he can already see that his thinking is different from ordinary people. He can see farther and think more. His concerns are unjustified. You know, spar is a consumable. Everyone will consume it. If part of it is refined every day, if one day, the crystal ore is exhausted, no new crystal ore can be found, or the number of crystal ore is declining, then the entire monetary system will collapse. If it is possible to mint an immortal currency, then this possibility can be cut off from its roots. Once and for all. I don't know if the minter can do that. I only know that the minter can mint coins, but I haven't understood it carefully. It seems that to solve this problem, we must start from the source of the coinage. Yi Tianxing nodded secretly and groaned. Currency should not be changed overnight. Dig some spar first, and I'll take it back to try a coin. See if you can mint the right currency. No matter how much you think, it is better to do it directly. After a while, a group of spar was dug in the vein. Yi Tianxing returned directly to the village. Sitting in the middle of the quiet room, waving a hand, a divine furnace tripod appeared in the quiet room. This stove tripod is strange. The whole body is sealed, but the position of the tripod cover is a golden cormorant. Opening his mouth wide, he looked like he was sucking the wealth of the world. Below it is a golden toad. That looks like a three-legged Jin Chan holding a stove tripod with an urn on it. Together, there is a whole, there is unspeakable harmony. Moreover, in the mouth of the three-legged golden toad, there is a piece of money. However, this money seems very illusory and vague, as if it can be changed at any time. It was not completely finalized. Swallowing money, Jin Chan spit out money. One in the sky, one in the ground, a good coin furnace. Yi Tianxing carefully explored the mint furnace in front of it. The mint furnace can be opened without any gaps. It can swallow a large amount of mint materials. Once the mint is completed, the golden toad will spit out the vague piece of money in Jin Chan's mouth. www.novelhall.com is the coin model. What kind of coins can be minted only by letting the money in Jin Chan's mouth condense into what it looks like? Very convenient and amazing. Definitely worthy of the name of different treasures. The point is that this coin furnace contains unique divine forbiddenness. Named Wanbao Chengkan Money Ban. This is the real foundation of the minter. Any coin minting furnace must have a coin prohibition. Otherwise, it is impossible to mint top coins. Make it once and try it out. Yi Tianxing picked up a black iron crystal ore and threw it towards the puppet on the coin furnace. I swallowed it directly. As soon as he thought, his body was infused into the coin furnace. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 139. Outer Circle Inside. Some things are delayed, something is wrong, and my mood is a bit bad. Close black lens bracket. At the same time, I started to think about the shape of coins I wanted to mint. Moreover, I clearly felt that as long as I was willing, the massive golden light in Jin Chan's mouth would directly condense into what it looks like, even if it was condensed into gold ingots. Just a matter of thought. Of course, Yi Tianxing never thought about the matter of condensing into gold ingots. In his vision, the minted coins can still be as large as gold coins, but he does not intend to be a whole piece like a coin. He chose the most ancient copper coin shape in China. Outer circle inside. In Huasha, at first, the sky was round and the ground was square. Saying the place of the sky. It is passed down through the ages and summarizes the wisdom of the Chinese people. Inside, there is a lot of truth and reason. The monk summarizes heaven and earth with his reasoning. In various doctrines, there are shadows. Similarly, the Tianyuan place is also a unique trace of civilization in China. No matter how you change it, you see and change Yi Tianxing's own origin from the Chinese civilization and the blood of the descendants of Yan and Huang. This world may not be the same as before, but he still hopes to inherit some traces of civilization that belonged to China before. Moreover, the circle symbolizes the Tao of equality, tolerance, and harmony. Fang symbolizes order, respect, order, and distance. Human beings multiply between heaven and earth, and all actions and ideas should follow the way of heaven and earth. No rules, no standards. Round without edges and corners, easy to carry. Don't underestimate this. Convenience, Z said, it's convenient for the person. It means to be convenient for others. This seemingly simple truth spans the entire society and runs through the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. Easy to others, is also a moral concept advocated by a harmonious society. It can be said that it contains infinite truth. The coin model chosen by Yi Tianxing this time is also the coin shape inside the outer circle. After quickly completing the imagination of the coin model, in Jin Chan's mouth, an illusion of money suddenly appeared. Ding ding ding. The mint furnace was operating, only to see that the black iron spar that had been sent in was quickly melted directly in the mint furnace, and a mysterious texture was incorporated into it. Into a ball of liquid. Subsequently, Jin Chan opened his mouth and vomited, and the coins inside the outer circle spit out of Jin Chan's mouth so naturally. The number is not large, only less than 10. The color of the coin was dark, but it was shining with light. Taken in your hands, these coins have a lot of weight, especially the outline of the mysterious patterns on it, forming the pattern of dragons and phoenixes, and the emergence of two ancient seals eternity. On the reverse side, it is a beautiful scene of mountains and rivers, full of humanities, like a scene of the Qingming River. There are officials, soldiers, farmers, doctors, etc. These characters are very small, but it's lifelike. That is the scene that Yi Tianxing saw in his mind in the Viewing People's scripture, directly engraved on it. This coin stove is magical, and it can really be done. It's really exquisite. On the reverse side are also engraved with two ancient badgers Xuanwang. The size of the coin is about the same as the 1 yuan coin of the previous life, and the thickness is also the same. It's just a square hole in the middle. Not only has it not become a defect, but it has a mysterious color. It seems that the whole is a mouth that can swallow everything. So fine and exquisite coins. The minting furnace is really magical. It can melt a spar in a short time and condense it into coins in a unique way. It is crystal-like, full of volume, exquisite and chic. Like art, it is natural. Moreover, it can also feel inside that contains this strange and pure vitality of the world. Let me see what will happen to the absorption and refining. Quote. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath. What he wanted to mint was currency that would not be destroyed after absorption, and that it could have real value and be recognized by monks. Can bring benefits to monks. A moment of thought, holding a coin in his hand. During the work method, a suction force is naturally transmitted from the hand. Quickly pull out the pure energy contained in the coins. The vitality inside is very pure and can be absorbed and refined by itself without needing to be tempered. Moreover, directly absorbing the heaven and earth vitality contained in the refining coins is not only faster than drawing the outside world's vitality alone, but also many times faster. After all, this is the crystallization of the essence of heaven and earth. The energetic energy contained is naturally not comparable to that of the outside world. It is like vital energy directly irrigating the body. Sure enough, this coin is the substantive vitality of heaven and earth, and it contains pure vitality. This one, for me, can also be equivalent to the vitality of heaven and earth that can be absorbed by one day's hardship. It can be equivalent to the vitality of heaven and earth that can be extracted in 10 days and a half months. With the help of spar cultivation, the cultivation speed can be made faster. It is even more amazing. Quote. However, simply using spar to cast, obviously, after absorbing the vitality inside, there is no way to save the existence of the coin itself. Yi Tianxing looked at the coins that had completely turned into powder in his hands and shook his head slightly. With spar alone, there is no way to preserve the shape. The first coinage, obviously, failed. In the common coinage, other materials must be added to copper. Separate spar is not enough, then I can add other things. For example, the bone essence quenched from animal bones. Or add other treasures. Use animal bone essence first. Try it. Quote. What kind of coins minted by the coin is itself provided with various materials, and the coin furnace can completely integrate it perfectly, which is the magical point of the coin furnace. The key is to see what kind of material you provide. After the first coinage failure, started the second coinage again, this time taking out a spar and a bone crystal cast from the essence of animal bones. At the same time was sucked into the mint furnace. When he was about to start minting again, he suddenly saw the wishing beads placed in the space of spirit beads. There was a flash of light in his eyes, and a thought came to his mind. If you add willing pearls, will there be other changes? The value of money lies in circulation. In the process of circulation, it is the gathering of luck, condensing of popularity and wealth, and there were monks who used circulation it's very wide, and the dynasty's wealthy coins were minted into money swords. The coins were sacrificed into magical instruments. This is because these coins are in circulation, condensing popularity, luck, wealth, etc. In fact, these say it is undoubtedly a will to rise. Quote. Money, as currency, can circulate and buy all kinds of goods. It has its own luck. It is a medium for the circulation of influence. It is hope that everyone hopes for, and these are all desires. If coins can directly gather sentient beings that's not to say. You can use it back and forth and use coins as a medium for carrying your will. Gathering the will of all beings. Quote. A flash of aura in his mind instantly made Yi Tianxing have infinite reveries. Some people say that money is dirty, but it is undeniable that everyone needs it and no one can escape it. It is not surprising that coins can carry their will. The key is how to make coins have a strong ability to converge. This is the most critical point. After a little groaning, Yi Tianxing once again put a wishing bead into the coin furnace. Immediately began to recast. The spar and bone crystals quickly melted in the coin furnace, and even the wishing bead quickly melted. Under the mystery of the minting furnace, the three materials naturally merged together and turned into a crystalline liquid, and each of the treasures was continuously integrated into the liquid. After incorporating willingness, the situation in the mint seems completely beyond Yi Tianxing's control. All you can see is a flicker of golden light. Inside, you can hear the prayers, and even the shouts of businessmen selling and selling. Ding ding ding. This refining took longer than before, and more than 10 times longer. I don't know how long in the past, Jin Chan opened his mouth and spit out golden coins. Compared with the previous, it is completely different. The golden texture is like glazed. It still looks like before. The front is eternity and the reverse is black. The sun, moon and stars are positive, the dragons and phoenixes are auspicious, the reverse is humane, and the mountains and rivers are beautiful. It turns out to be golden, and the weight is more full than before, and the whole body is like a glazed glass. The vitality contained in it is even more amazing, and there is a texture drawn on it willingly. It is wonderful. It is unique. However, there is one purple gold. The coins that were minted this time were even more amazing. It seemed to be due to the integration of bone crystals and wish beads, not only the color became golden. Jin Chenken. Very dazzling. Moreover, there was even a purple gold one inside. Vaguely, even a strange spirituality was born. It is obviously heavier than other money in your hands. It contains a unique charm. It seems to have a mysterious connection with other coins. This one, is it mother money, money mother? Yi Tianxing was shocked in his heart. He could feel the existence of other coins in his hands. It is the source of other coins. www.novelhall.com. There are even signs that he can control other money. Every money machine is entangled with this purple gold coin, and is implicated. This mother money seems to be a magic weapon. There seems to be a unique band in this purple coin. This is not what ordinary coins can have. In order to confirm the guess in his heart, Yi Tianxing did not hesitate to drop a drop of essence blood on the purple gold coins. That drop of essence blood was naturally incorporated into the purple gold coins. Brush. This purple gold coin instantly turned into a purple gold light, penetrated into the body, and appeared in the sky over Shanghai. Let the spirit of true dragons continue to refine and transform in it. It's really mother money, and it's really a yellow-level magic weapon. I didn't expect that a spar, a bone crystal, and a willingness bead would unexpectedly transform into a mother money magic weapon. Yi Tianxing couldn't help but open his mouth wide, his eyes were full of surprise. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 140, Eternal Coin. Seeking recommended collection. At the moment of refining, instinctively knew the information about mother money. The mother's money is not just the first coin sample minted. In the world, it is natural that they were the first coins to be minted, but this kind of crystals made from spar naturally does not have the saying that the first coins are mother money. Found out, it is in circulation. I hope that the integration of Lizu has caused a strange change in coins. In the coin furnace, a mother money was born. And turned into purple gold. Like the supreme in coins, exudes noble air. This mother money is not simple, just like all the coins are derived from this mother money. The gas machine is connected. Without an additional coin, naturally, an additional gas machine is associated with the mother money. The key is, mother money has a unique ability, named the mother and daughter are confined. Mother money can summon child money. In this process, it is necessary to wait for a certain time to complete the call. In the circulation of coins, a lot of strength is naturally gathered in the mother's money. Part of it will directly smelt the mother money, and part of it will condense and have the magical ability to directly consolidate the beads of desire. But it must be done after the coins have been completely circulated. However, I don't know if I can save it this time. Yi Tianxing once again picked up a golden coin and held it in his hand. Immediately, he felt that at the moment when he held the coin, a strange feeling appeared in his body, and his own attraction to the vitality of heaven and earth suddenly increased. Moreover, you can also draw the vitality from the coins in your hand. The speed of practice has increased threefold. This is superimposed on the increase of my position as the head of Xuanwang village. Is this the abnormal change that has occurred after being incorporated into the wish force beads? Yi Tianxing secretly gave birth to a hint of suspicion. However, he did not hesitate, and still quickly absorbed the vitality contained in the coins. Unconsciously, the vitality of the heavens and earth contained in the coins has all been exhausted. It can be seen with the naked eye that as the heavens and earth's vitality is drawn a little bit, the originally golden coins become weaker and lighter. After all the heavens and earth's vitality is drawn, the originally golden coins suddenly become white, like white jade glass crystal clear. There is no longer any vitality in the world, but it has not been completely destroyed as before. It's like art. It still exists, just the color has changed. Not golden anymore. It is crystal clear like white jade. There really is no vitality. But the coin itself is still not simple. What? Immediately afterwards, Yi Tianxing issued a frightening sound. I only saw that the white jade coin in my hand turned directly into a white light and disappeared. This white light came directly from the square hole in the coin. It disappeared directly and disappeared along the square hole. There are no signs, and there is no way to stop them. It seems that after the vitality of heaven and earth contained in the coins was completely absorbed, it began to touch some peculiar forbidden method. Subsequently, the light in Yi Tianxing's hand flashed, and the purple gold mother money that was put into the body suddenly appeared, but there was a difference. On the purple gold mother money, a white jade-like coin appeared on the mother money. Vaguely, with the touch of mother money and child money, a little bit of vitality was naturally drawn by the Zijin coins and passed to the child money a little bit. This process is not fast, but it is true that the vitality of heaven and earth is pouring into Bai Yuzi's money that has been exhausted. On Bai Yuzi's money, a very inconspicuous golden light shone, very weak. Not even noticeable. It turned out that the touch of the mother-in-law's heart is the moment after the vitality of the world in the child's money is completely absorbed. This call is almost irresistible, and it is even more unexpected that the core of the purple gold mother's money can actually let the sub-money that has been depleted of heaven and earth's vitality once again draws heaven and earth's vitality and recovers a little bit. This is simply incredible. It is amazing. I am getting an extraordinary treasure. Quote. Almost even Tianxing's eyes were narrowed. The heart was pounding. Such anomalies have unimaginable benefits for themselves. First of all, the absorbed coins can be recycled again, and even after a period of time, the consumed vitality can be restored to its original state again, and restored to the original golden yellow. It can be circulated again and circulated. The only question is how long these coins will recover. However, depending on the situation, this time will not be short, and it cannot be completed in 2 days. But as long as it can be recovered, it is an incalculable gain. This means that as long as a coin is minted, as long as the coin has not been fatally damaged and has not been destroyed, it can be recycled and used. This is a profit, and all money will be its own. It can even be said that money will never be lacking in the future. This is the cornucopia, endless and endless. The thought of this, even Yi Tianxing, felt the whole heart beating violently. What this is the backing of the most powerful heritage in the future. This matter must be kept secret. Coins have the ability to increase the speed of spiritual practice like a bead. Although the increase is only 3 times, it is extraordinary. It also contains the vitality of the world to absorb refining. Such coins are perfect. It's enough for every monk to give birth to recognition, accept it, use it, and maybe have the opportunity to become one of the most mainstream currencies in the eternal world. Quote. In this case, you need to have a good name. It is a black coin, which is too one-sided, and it is not conducive to preaching. Then, it is named after the eternal coin. Its magic is worthy of the name. Yi Tianxing suppressed the excitement in his heart. Take a deep breath and groan secretly. Eternal coin, representing the expectations in Yi Tianxing's heart. Expect it to become the real mainstream currency in the eternal continent. Once so, you can definitely get huge luck. However, minting eternal coins requires willing beads. I don't know how many eternal coins can be minted by a white willing bead. Because of the mutation of the purple money mother. Obviously, most of the desire is absorbed by Zijin mother money. This cannot be used as a basis for measuring the amount of coins that a willing bead can mint. He had to recast it and verify it himself to get the specific number. Take a deep breath, and without hesitation, turn on the coin furnace again. Put one more bead into it again, and send a few spar and bone crystal together, this time put more spar and bone crystal than before. Ding ding ding, push the coin furnace again. It can be felt that in the mint furnace, the willingness beaded into a group of bright white light, the spar and bone crystals melted into a group of liquids, and then a willingness penetrated into it. This seems to be the perfect ratio for the self-confidence of the mint. It does not occupy all the will, but only part of it. After a while, the golden eternal coins spit out from the golden toad one after another. The spar and bone crystals in the minting furnace were exhausted, but there was still some hope left. Without hesitation, new crystals and bone crystals were incorporated into it. In a moment, another batch of golden eternal coins were minted. When the wish in the coin bead in the minting furnace was completely consumed, there was already a small pile of eternal coins by the mint. 1 2 3 4. A white wish bead can mint 100 eternity coins. With the wish bead on my body, it is not possible to mint eternal coins on a large scale. However, it should be okay to satisfy Xuanwang village temporarily. Yi Tianxing checked it and found that a white wishing bead just happened to condense 100 eternal coins. This ratio is not high or low. Also within Yi Tianxing's estimate. Anyway, Xuanwang village is not big enough now. As long as the currency needs to start to circulate, it will be able to consolidate the will and get new beads. By then, you can use the new beads to make more eternal coins. Completely form a virtuous circle. The coin minting furnace can be handed to Shui Jin and put in the Wanbao Hall, and let Shui Jin preside over the work of coin minting. I only need to control this mother money, and I can control everything without worrying about any changes or any means. Yi Tianxing did not continue to mint eternal coins. The coin minting furnace is a different treasure. As long as various materials are incorporated into it, someone can pour out the eternal energy, and you can continuously cast eternal coins. Even without someone pouring the authenticity, the coin minting furnace itself can draw the heaven and earth's vitality and maintain its operation. Without authenticity, the casting time will be longer. But none of this matters much for now. Later, Yi Tianxing ordered Cao Zhengchun to bring Huang Chengyan and Shui Jin together. After the meeting, they didn't say much, and delivered the minted eternal coins directly to their hands. Looking at the eternal coin in his hand, Shui Jin opened his mouth toward the eternal coin, and the airflow passed through the hole, making a crisp vibrato. Good coins, as long as they are pushed out, they will be immediately accepted by everyone. No one can resist such currencies. Not only are they exquisite, but they also have the ability to increase like a jewel. They can also be like spar. Learn from its vitality and growth. This effect is already perfect for a currency, www.novelhall.com, eternal coin, it can definitely be popular among monks. Quote. Shui Jin said excitedly. He did not expect that Yi Tianxing could mint such a perfect currency immediately after finding the crystal ore, which is called eternal currency, and it is absolutely worthy of it. I also agree that no one can refuse such a currency. Even Wang wants to put a few on his body for collection. Huang Chengyan nodded with a smile and agreed. For eternity coins, put it down. He had never seen such a perfect coin. In this case, after completing the coinage, I have found an opportunity to release the eternal coin in the future. It is officially circulated as currency. The eternal coin has all the purchasing power. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. Decide this matter thoroughly. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis.